app.
Downgraded, but still a threat. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The remnants of Tropical Storm Debbie making their way up the East Coast. Another day of heavy rain and wind in the Carolinas.
Power restoration crews continue to work diligently to restore electricity. Outages totaled almost 500,000 during the day yesterday. They're down to close to 20,000 now.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. The storm has claimed another life. A 78-year-old woman in North Carolina died after a tree fell on her home. Forecasters say the storm will impact the mid-Atlantic and New England over the weekend. Vermont Governor Phil Scott says there's some good news.
It appears to be tracking westerly, and Vermont is no longer in the eye of the storm. But it will impact the western side of the state later today and the vast majority of Vermont.
Parts of Vermont are still recovering after flooding rains last month. A federal emergency declared in the Kursk region of Russia, where about 3,000 people have been forced to evacuate.
It's the spot where hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers poured over the border 4 days ago in what appears to be Kyiv's biggest attack on Russian soil since February of 2023. Russia's defense ministry reported the fighting is close to an important pipeline transit hub for Russian natural gas. But the attacks are not limited to Russia. A shopping mall in the eastern Donetsk region in Ukraine slammed by a missile launch from a Russian plane kills several civilians, wounding scores more, authorities said. The regional leader called it another act of terror by the Russians. And it's similar to one from September 6th of last year when a Russian missile slammed into an outdoor market, killing at least 17 people.
Fox's CJ Papa, a senior prosecutor in Norway, says it's unlikely to go ahead with the trial of a Russian citizen who was arrested there in 2022 on spying charges, who was part of the multinational prisoner swap that led to the release of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gerskovich and fellow American Paul Whelan. America's listening to Fox News.
You can host the best backyard barbecue when you find a professional on Angie to make your backyard the best around. Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside, repairs to renovations. Get started on the Angie app or visit Angie.com today. You can do this when you Angie that.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our temperature's running a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler, and this is going to hang around for a while. Some clouds around this afternoon. Cooler and drier air, 82 for the high. Tonight, clear skies develop. 70s for evening plans, 64 for the low. On Thursday, sunny and 85. Friday, sunny 82. The weekend, sunny and 80 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25RHINO.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
St. Louis City SC is advancing onto the knockout stage of Leagues Cup 2024. Get ready to cheer on City SC as they take on the Portland Timbers this Friday, August 9th at City Park. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com starting at just $25. Leagues Cup. 3 countries, 2 leagues, 1 champion.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Madam Vice President, Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he is finally committed to it. I'm looking forward.
What about the other 2?
Let's make sure we get this photo.
It's Kamala Harris not talking 3 debates, but talking 1 debate. 1 debate that's been on the calendar for a long time, September 10th. And I think, is that ABC? Is that the ABC debate or CBS? One or the other.
I think it's ABC.
So this is the debate that was originally agreed to with Joe Biden. And Trump had hesitated a little bit because he was saying, you know, what are the Democrats going to do next? They pulled the rug out from Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris becomes the presumptive nominee, but she's not actually the nominee yet. Maybe we should wait. In Donald Trump's words, I debated Joe Biden, and that was it. That was the end of it. How many times do I have to take out, like, how many people do I have to beat in the Democrat Party in order to become the president of the United States? Maybe the Democrat Party should have to commit to Kamala Harris before I commit to debating the next person who they might make the nominee for the Democrat Party. That's smart. Then they just, in the last few days, virtually officially nominated Kamala Harris to become the nominee. Now he's agreeing to debate her on the previously agreed to date of September 10th. He wasn't waffling. He's the one who initially, to the Democrat Party, to Joe Biden, said, you tell me where, you tell me when, you tell me the rules, I'm there. And then they did, and he did.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala Harris keeps responding to the pressures that are obviously coming from the Trump ticket and the apparatus that is the RNC. That the noise behind Kamala Harris isn't answering to anybody has gotten loud enough that she went and had a mini press conference yesterday. Donald Trump talked for an hour to anybody who wanted to ask him anything in a press conference that he manufactured himself, and it forced her to take, what'd she take, like 4 questions or something like that?
On the tarmac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she gave pretty much no answers. She did verbalize that she would be there at that September 10th debate. But that's all she's willing to commit to. She is being pressured by the actions, which is what I really appreciate about this. It's not about money that the Trump campaign is spending that got Kamala Harris to do even that little thing yesterday. She took those questions because of Donald Trump's actions. Here's more from what she said yesterday.
I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it, and Hope he shows up.
Are you open to more debate?
I am happy to have that conversation about an additional debate for after September 10th.
I hope he shows up. What the hell is that? Yeah. Kamala Harris, he is not afraid of you. The only person, there's two things that Donald Trump needs to beat in order to win the election in November. The first is the caricature that's been painted about him. The second is the media. Both of those are all wrapped up in getting truth out. And if he can get the truth out, he wins big. And Donald Trump, people are criticizing him for not doing enough right now from a campaign standpoint. I want to talk about that here in just a second. But he's forcing action on Kamala's part. And when Kamala goes like, I hope he shows up, that's like middle school girl stuff in the back room where you're not, she didn't say it to his face. Do you think that Donald Trump would be willing to go debate her any place, anywhere right now? I think he would. J.D. Vance literally walked up and said, I'd like to see my next plane.
Yep.
Do you agree with me, Ryan, or do you see it any differently that Donald Trump's actions are directing the course of this campaign?
I do. It is that press conference that he did yesterday. Without saying it, he went over an hour, and the point of the press conference was the length of the press conference, just to pressure her to do more of this. Now, one thing that she says in that very little press gaggle she did off the plane there is after September 10th. That is very, very key because she wants to make sure that she's using a John Fetterman strategy there. Where, yes, that first one is, we got to have that one because that one's already set. I can't go back on that one. But I want all the other ones, if we do any more at all, to be after that because early voting will have already started. And I want to make sure that I don't sway anybody away from me as soon as possible.
Showing up.
By doing something.
I want to talk about the fighting that's taking place or the judgment that's taking place right now about Donald Trump, his campaign. Are they doing enough? Are they in the right places? Are they being seen enough? Your thoughts on that, Brad?
Is Donald Trump's campaign doing it? I look at this like a rope-a-dope. You mentioned it a little bit yesterday. You said it was like wringing out a rag and that's all that's left. And I think that's very astute observation. That Donald Trump is letting the Harris campaign have their sugar rush, have their high, have their peak. And on the downswing, he will use their downward momentum to pull them all the way down and vault himself there. So I think he's strategically waiting. In the press conference yesterday, he said that he had a bunch of commercials and stuff just waiting to go out.
Did you guys see the Tucker preview?
No.
Video?
I haven't seen it.
I'm going to pull it up and share it here. We're going to watch it together on this show while we do this show. What do you think, Ryan? Have you seen the criticisms that he's trying to lose or that he's surrounded by people that are trying to have him lose?
No, I haven't seen that at all.
Okay, you don't spend as much time on Twitter.
I spend some time on Twitter, not nearly as much as you do. I don't think.
That's a +1 for you.
That's
not. I'm envious of that.
I got a little addicted to it, so I said, got to back off a little bit.
Good for you. I have heard it talked. I see all these little bickering things on the internet and Twitter and X. There's really not that much on Facebook, but I've purged so much. Like I've really worked to cultivate my Facebook to be just an apolitical thing. But things get bickered about on Twitter. When they start making it into other media, I lean into it a little bit more. But people are worried that he's not doing what it takes to win. Influencing is the main game right now. Especially if you're on Twitter, that's where influencers are. Now, here's the truth. I'm an influencer, but I am an influencer on the radio that did not require social media in order for me to influence people. I would call myself a talk show host, a radio talk show host, but it would probably to like my children's generation, to Gen Z, it would mean more to them. You know, if I told them how many people I talk to a day, as an influencer, they'd be way more impressed than a radio talk show host. They'd be like, "Oh, cool! How do you listen to the radio?" Not my.
That's why I'm trying to start a makeup blog.
You should.
I'm just trying to get out there.
That's one way to get out there.
I'm gonna go to Minnesota, start a makeup blog.
I very much so feel like influencing is going to be the name of the game for this election. And if you think back to when Obama won in 2008, do you remember how much he utilized YouTube before people even knew what YouTube was?
Oh, yeah, and people were fawning over it.
Yes. YouTube was this huge thing, and he came of age as YouTube came of age. And, in that respect, he used a platform in a way to set the tone of how that platform would be used in the future. But by the time the next people come and use it in the future, guess what? It's already been done and everybody is doing the same thing. So you can't really maximize that. You have to get ahead of it. And then in 2016, Trump used Facebook, which is what ticked Facebook off to no end, because Facebook wasn't supposed to be something that was a Republican plus up. And the Trump campaign, through, I think, a lot of Kellyanne Conway, really worked hard to make sure that they would use that as a complete and total full asset for themselves. And they did. And it helped. I mean, really, a lot of people suggest that helped them actually end up winning the whole schmo. And in 2020, the social media game, the digital game, was won by the left. And they used that implementing all of the ballot harvesting with all the state legislature election law changes to maximize turnout. But turnout didn't actually have to turn out. They just showed up. I don't think that influencers, I'm talking influencers in the digital landscape, have been used in an election effectively yet. And this is probably going to be the one where it happens. You can have beyond, like, Kamala Harris's song, her walkout song is called Freedom by Beyonce. It is a killer song. It is an awesome song. It makes me sad that every time I would hear it, if I were to encounter it, that I'd be like, oh, Kamala. But it's a great song. That stuff matters. If Beyonce shows up, that influences people. But she's one word Beyonce. Is it Aiden Ross? Is that his name? Aiden something?
Yeah.
He's got millions of people who are watching him, who are 18 years old. I think his prime audience is maybe 15 to 24, maybe 13 to 24. Half of those people can go vote. And of those people, you think they're not super impressionable based on what Aiden Ross ends up telling them to do. They don't probably know anything about politics other than what they've heard about personally in their own homes. But who are they going to listen more to? How their parents have raised them, or what their daily YouTube influencer that they consume every day, or however often they put out information or content? That is hugely impactful. And Trump is going to do all of these things. Logan Paul, isn't that who he was on, or was it Jake? Whichever one.
It was Logan.
And Jake Paul and Logan Paul have done follow-up content where they were bidding on Donald Trump's MAGA hat that he was wearing when he got shot.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes. And they're like,
Wow.
I want that hat. And it went up to $12 million. They said, we'll go together, halvesies, and how about $12 million? They want his hat. That is so massively influential. And those people are not taking polls. Those people aren't answering phone calls and texts about, on a scale of 1 to 5.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the following?
And I read those polls, and sometimes they're 80 questions long. Do you think that even if they're answering the phone, do you think they're getting all the way through that? Absolutely not. That's why when you talk about Trump, and this is why Trump talks about crowd size, because enthusiasm matters a lot more than we give it credit for.
We are watching a different kind of campaigning. And in this different kind of campaigning, I don't think we 100% know how to measure it. We generally learn these things after the fact anyway. But Donald Trump is doing things. And what I see, this is what I can't take seriously. This doesn't mean that all of these people are wrong, but this is my assessment of it. If people are super complaining about it on social media and they have really big platforms, they just want in on the game. And they're not in on the game the way they want to be in on the game. And if they're not in on the game the way they want to be in on the game, it's very difficult for me to not take those criticisms with a grain of salt when your game is influencing on the internet. Because those people would individually profit just by more exposure, more clicks, and all of that, should they be a part of it. All right, we're going to watch this video This is part of the Tucker video that's going to be released on the Tucker Carlson network. They have, I think it was since early June, it might have been earlier, had somebody embedded with the Trump campaign. They were there when Donald Trump was shot at.
So we're standing exactly in the path where the president will walk out to the crowd about an hour from now, and there's a malfunction with the flag.
Be careful.
The hood's rocking with Trump. Trump's definitely got the black vote back.
Making America great again.
Donald Trump is the boss. And when you think you're in control, Donald Trump does something that says you're not in control.
You think Biden could do this? I don't think so.
Build the wall! What is the campaign specifically doing differently now?
If there's one word to describe it, it's just execution.
Biden's just taken the stage of the debate.
The standard is not, are you able to stand up for 90 minutes?
I can't even understand him right now.
Trump is like riding a great racehorse, right? You put the blinders on, you guide him into the corners, and you let him run.
Look at how many people are showing up for a rally. Everyone, please, just make sure you're ready. 30 seconds. Let's go, America! The president's been shot. I repeat, the president's been shot.
Art of the Surge, the President Donald Trump's comeback, and it's like a film. And it looks like, I've got the goosebumps right now, but it looks like an incredible way to showcase what's really going on here. The production level of the Donald Trump campaign is going to be second to none, even though most people who are in that line of work in Hollywood would lean towards the left side and have something to gain by propping up Kamala Harris. Everything you see from Kamala Harris is a production. That's the entirety of what you see. Donald Trump shows up and takes an hour of questions from the media, of which I felt like yesterday, everything was done in a very respectful way, but you can ask a very basic question of Donald Trump, and in my mind, they are putting the ball on the tee for him to shoot himself in the foot. Because he does that from time to time. He got asked a question about Willie Brown yesterday, and he never once said anything about Kamala Harris's sexual past. And I was bracing myself for him to make that mistake, and he didn't do it. And I was really impressed by that. I mean, he got asked the question. I don't know who the reporter was that asked the question, but he got put on the spot, and he took the high road. And the more that I've seen some predictable people on the left tearing their hair out about that press conference yesterday, the more I'm like, well done, sir.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, when I saw a headline this morning from HuffPost, it said, Trump does another wackadoodle press conference. I was like, oh, well, he probably did pretty well then.
Does press conference.
Yeah. He did a press conference.
When you see the phrase unhinged pop out, then you know.
There's unhinged. It's just, sometimes it's forward facing, sometimes it's behind the scenes. When we come back, we're going to take some of your phone calls. And I want to ask you right now if you feel like Donald Trump is doing what it takes to win the vote. There is a lot of letting the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz ticket breathe a little bit here. Do you think this is a good strategy? Do you think Donald Trump and his campaign people are on the winning path? Do you think they have what it takes to get it done? You give us a call at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. And we will take your phone calls in the next segment right here on the Annie Fry Show. Don't go away.
All the bad things disappear. You're making me feel.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Air Comfort Service. You find them online at aircomfortservice.com. Reach out to Air Comfort Service for all of your HVAC needs, but you can also call them 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091. I want to remind you right now of a $55 off summer special that they have going on right now. For a limited time, you can save $55 off of any air conditioner repair. You can also save $55 off of a new water heater. You should know by now that Air Comfort Service offers all of those HVAC services and attic insulation, but they also service and install both tank and tankless water heaters. They installed one in my home, and they did a fantastic job. We can all take hot showers now, like all 6 of us in the same night. It's amazing, and we have that because of Air Comfort Service. Call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and ask them about their $55 off summer special. And make sure you mention Annie when you do. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special only $49.99. Seminars Tuesday, August 13th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as is condition with no middleman involved. I recently bought a house from somebody that was embarrassed to let me in the door. There was stuff all over the place and the entire house smelled like smoke. However, we were definitely able to see the potential. We gave them a great cash offer that they were very happy with. So if you have a house that isn't in the best shape, maybe in disrepair, we're interested in making you an as-is cash offer. Please reach out today, KLAMEN Group.com.
What better way to support your nutrition than with the multivitamin that was created right here in St. Louis? Neovitin Original Multivitamin was created by St. Louis physician Dr. Ribicki to support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Now, Neovitin Original Multivitamin is formulated with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Ribicki's proprietary blend to give you nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Neovitin is now conveniently available through our no-obligation monthly subscription. Cancel or pause at any time, and shipping is free. Support your nutrition with a subscription to Neovitin at neovitin.com today.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Focus Marines Foundation is here to help veterans transition from service to civilian life, and we're here to support them. This is Mark Cox inviting you to get involved in this month's Conservatives Care effort by visiting 971talk.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Mr. President, you have not had a public campaign event for nearly a week now. Tomorrow you'll be in Montana, which is not a swing state. Some of your allies have expressed concern that you're not taking this race seriously, particularly at a time where there is enthusiasm on the other side. Why haven't you been campaigning this week?
Because I'm leading by a lot, and because I'm letting their convention go through. And I am campaigning a lot. I'm doing tremendous amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before.
So Donald Trump says that from a press conference at Mar-a-Lago, and then what do you know? Kamala Harris walks up to a little gaggle of press that probably follows her everywhere she goes because that's how these things work, and she answers a few questions with, I mean, there's nothing of consequence, really. She did say something about the September 10th debate.
Yeah, but Mr. President, why aren't you out campaigning right now? What am I doing right now with you?
Yeah.
I'm doing a press conference with you.
314 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. I'm going to take your phone calls now, and you can tell us what you think about the Trump campaign strategy, at least as it looks right now. We're going to start with Rich. Rich, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What do you think about Donald Trump and his choices so far?
Well, happy Friday, Annie, Brad, and Ryan, for one thing. But
thank you.
You guys kind of summed up what I was going to say, that he's going to be out there. I think he's just listening and let her take care of screwing up, to be honest with you. She every time she gets on, speaks at any time, she doesn't make any sense. They have no accomplishments. They screwed up 4 years for our country, and I really don't have a lot to say about it. I think just let her play her cards, and it's just going to give Trump more popularity.
Rich, thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye. 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. If you'd like to join us and tell us what you think about this campaign strategy. Randy, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show.
Yeah, Annie, I think if he continues this strategy, he's definitely going to lose.
Which part of it is a problem for you, do you think?
Well, like yesterday, the press conference, he said there were bigger crowds for the January 6th than for the Martin Luther King 1963 speech, which was not true, okay? And why would he be bringing up January 6th, for heaven's sakes? Doesn't make sense.
I think they asked him a question about it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
He shouldn't even bring it up.
He did, but that's what I'm saying, Randy. He's not the one who brought it up. He was asked about it. That was brought into the conversation, and he just doesn't back down.
All right, his response is what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The January 6th was not bigger than Martin Luther King's speech at Washington. Go look it up if you don't believe me.
No, Randy. I mean, we can. I'll get the ledger out and we'll check notes. I don't really care. Do you think that there are people who are out there listening to that press conference who are like, "Gosh, I was going to vote for Trump, but that's the last straw. I'm not going to vote for him anymore."
Well, here's the thing. What did CNN pick up on today? They picked up on him saying that.
Looked.
They picked up on him saying that we're going to go into a depression unless he wins. Why would he say that?
You think that's possible?
No. I don't.
What do you think?
Let me tell you what he needs to focus on.
Let me ask you real quick. Yeah, I'll give you the time. But Randy, do you want Donald Trump to win?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we understand where you're coming from.
I went to his rally one time. Yes, I want him to win. Are you kidding?
No.
If I told you my occupation, you would understand. But I don't want to,
That's fine.
Over the radio here, people.
Randy, what is it that you think he should be doing? Give us your thoughts on how he could correct course.
Here's what he should talk about. There's three things he should talk about, okay? Inflation and the grocery store, number one, okay? Interest rates and housing and the border. Those three things, it's the economy, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Take a play out of the Clinton playbook. Stop talking about how great he was back 4 years ago and all this other stuff, and then she has a low IQ, all these other things he says. Focused on those three things constantly, and he's going to win.
Do you feel like there's any chance that he's going to stop saying things like low IQ?
No, absolutely not.
So
he will not say it.
Randy, I'll tell you that where I've come at that is I agree with you that I feel like it would be easier to plow through this election season if he would stop doing those things, but he's not going to stop doing those things. So
he's going to lose. He's going to lose if he continues.
All right. Well, Randy, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. And maybe that's the case. I mean, I've resolved myself to understanding that Donald Trump is going to be a certain way. He's going to be Donald Trump about things. I can't will him to be different. However, I saw him be incredibly disciplined during that last debate during Joe Biden. I think there's a ton that rides on his ability to do the same thing and let Kamala be the story of the next debate with her non-answers or, even worse, her actual policy answers, which is socialism, even further progressive than what Joe Biden has been capable of doing. But I understand Randy and many people listening right now who are like, I wish he would stop saying low IQ. But it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think to summarize what Randy's point is, that he just wishes he'd be more disciplined and just talk about
I
the
wish he would
issues.
go down to the southern border and individually keep every illegal from coming into the country.
I wish he would do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
That is going to happen before he stops saying things like low IQ.
Trump does talk about all those issues that Randy's talking about a lot. He just also says other things that end up getting headlines. I think that's what Randy's upset about.
Yeah. And I don't think that Randy's criticisms are wrong.
No, I don't either.
I just think that at this point for me, in 2024, in our third time through a Trump campaign, I'm not going to waste my time and energy on that. I'm going to focus elsewhere. And I don't think that he's a certainty to lose.
And he's probably the most famous man in the world now.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how he's going to speak about these things.
314-241-9797. Let's get to Ken. Ken, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What do you think about how Donald Trump's running his campaign so far?
How are you today?
Doing okay. How are you?
Okay. I think he's going to lose over the abortion issue. I think the conservatives are too far right, and the left are too far left. I think we need to be more in the middle with that.
That's exactly where he is,
don't
though,
care
on
one
the
way
issue.
or the other.
That's where he is,
Yeah,
Ken.
but I understand that, but they're going to hammer away that he's more conservative than what he really is. And if the Republicans don't get out the message that they want abortion up till birth, I think it's a losing message.
But the message that you're saying he needs to employ is exactly the message that I think he's been spot on the abortion issue. I'm incredibly pro-life. I think life begins at conception. Politically, I've said this before on this show, I don't think that the answer to ending abortion is going to happen in a state legislature or in a federal government system. I think it's going to happen with culture. And we should be individually working harder to do that, and I start with myself. But Donald Trump's message is that he's for the Ronald Reagan 3 exceptions, which he lists, and then he immediately goes on to talk about Northam in Virginia and how he was advocating for fourth-term abortions, and then he paints that as the fact that the left is the radical one on the issue. I actually think that for a Republican, he's taken risks to go to the moderate center on this issue that could pay off down the road.
Yes. Yeah, and I hope it does pay off. But I just hear so much about, I have some Democratic friends that still believe that, he's for no abortion.
Yeah.
And that most conservatives are for absolutely no abortions. And I'm like, well, that's not exactly the case.
Yeah.
I realize that most people are, a lot of people are for no abortions at all, but
And Ken, too, I think the key here, you're absolutely spot on when you say, like, the messaging is painful on this issue for the right, because the left is dishonest in their media connections, because the media will trumpet the things that hurt Trump the most, which is the lies that are being told by the Kamala Harris ticket about how Donald Trump wants to end abortion everywhere. Donald Trump has never said that he wants to end abortion anywhere. So it's really going to be on us individually to take the clips of what he's actually saying on abortion and make those one-to-one connections in a grassroots level to make sure we do cut through the lies that your Democrat friends are absolutely seeing that is becoming a big issue for them in this election.
Yeah, I just hope we get the messaging out on all of what he wants to do rather than letting them control it.
Yeah.
The narrative, because it's a losing message.
Ken, thank you. We
when
appreciate
they're controlling everything. Thank you.
Yep, you bet. Let's get to Chad. Chad, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. What do you think about Donald Trump's campaign strategy so far?
Hey, Annie, how you doing?
Doing okay,
I
thanks.
think the strategy, it is what it is. I think the key to it is you have about 7 or 8 states that's going to decide it. Everybody is freaking out about, how he's running things. It's not really going to matter other than getting boots on the ground. He needs to concentrate on Pennsylvania and the other states that's coming out early. Pennsylvania, you're going to have 45 days before November to vote. That's insane. So what you have to do is you take your money and you put it in each one of those states, the swing states that's going to have early voting, and you put boots on the ground. It's going to be who can get their people out. The message is already baked in. There's nothing that either side is going to say to really move the needle. What's going to move the needle now is boots on the ground. You get the states that are voting early, and to me, I would have J.D. Vance get a hotel room and just live in Pennsylvania until they start voting, and make sure every one of these states that's voting early It's only like 7 or 8 of them, and you really hammer home getting people out.
Get the
The
votes.
message is right, and the message is going to be what the message is. People in St. Louis, why do you think we don't get any ads? We're not going to get any national ads because we're going for Trump.
Yeah.
Illinois, you're not going to get any national ads because they're going for Harris.
Yeah.
So I mean, what these guys are talking about is a non-factor.
I agree.
All you need to do is concentrate on those 7 or 8 states. Make sure that you get as many volunteers. You knock on every door. I mean, the nursing homes. You do mailing, whatever they allow. The Democrats to do, the Republicans have to do it better in those states.
Chad,
It's
do you
just
feel
that
like
simple.
do you feel like Donald Trump's message on that grassroots door-to-door relationship? Do you think that Donald Trump has a winning message?
Oh, the message is there. I mean, we all know. I mean, I've aged. This is his 3rd time, 12 years. I was in my 40s when Trump started running in 2016. We know what he's going to do. That's not the problem. The problem is, are we going to get the people out in those swing states? We need to get boots on the ground and make sure that these people come out and vote. Because that's all the Democrats did. I mean, there was the only way that Biden won was because they cheated with the mail-in ballots and all that other stuff. So I don't want to get into that. But we have to match them. We need to put boots on the ground. And this is the only thing I would tell the Trump team to do is make sure that you stop saying November or whatever it is. That's not it's election season now. It's not election day. Whenever the voting starts in those states, him and J.D. Vance need to stay in those states. Do not spend not one dime in Missouri because we're going to vote for Trump. I wouldn't spend a penny here. I wouldn't even come here. I would do a drive-by with a big old sign saying, hello, this is Trump. Vote for Trump.
Chad.
I mean, but these are the things we need to focus on. And this is what I'm really worried about is that the national polls don't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
The polls that we need to concentrate on is the 7 or 8 states is going to make a difference. That's Pennsylvania, Michigan, Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina. We need to focus in on them states. And whatever those people won't, give it to them. Georgia, and we'll win.
Yep. Hey, Chad, thanks for listening to the show and thanks for calling in. We appreciate
All right.
it.
All right.
Take care. Bye-bye. This is a great call.
Chad, you go to Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
We'll all go with you.
Chad,
we're talking about
be
doing
our
this
fearless
anyway.
leader. Yeah. We are talking about potentially making. Right now, it's a Wisconsin trip that we're just sort of discussing.
Yeah, we don't have any details yet.
Could
I
we
think
lead a
we're all-
caravan of people?
Ooh, I don't think we've discussed this yet.
No, we're doing it live on the air.
Yes, we can.
I can take one more call, and his name is Robert, but it might cut into Be or Not the Bee in Wiggins, America. So really, Ryan, it's up to you. Should we take Robert's call or not?
Robert, you got 60 seconds. You better make it good.
Robert, thank you for calling the Annie Fry Show. We appreciate you. What do you think about this campaign Donald Trump's leading so far?
Well, thank you for taking my call. And yes, I think his campaign strategy so far is good. He already wasted money on Biden, and Biden dropped out. He doesn't want to spend a ton of money on Harris until after the convention in case the party decides to try something different. But I think letting her mess up and sitting back is a good strategy.
Yeah. Robert, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. And I really do agree that you know that Donald Trump has a mountain of smelly stuff on Kamala Harris, that there is a lot out there that hasn't been released. And is it valuable to release that right now? Think about this. To put this into perspective, Donald Trump was shot 3 weeks ago. That is old news. So if you release your strongest arrows right now regarding Oppo research or trying to take Kamala Harris down a notch, and you fire that too soon, you're not going to have that for later in the September surprise, because you need September surprises now because it's voting season. October surprises sometimes are too late. To me, I'm just watching the timeline of events here going, we still, even though it's 87 days, I'm guessing here, 88 days until the election, There's still a lot of time. And depending on what, you got to be thinking like, when is it time to go? When is it time to go? But once you start going, you got to be able to keep up with it.
Well, this has had to happen that fast too, because this is very sudden. Biden was saying that morning that he was staying in the race, and then he dropped out. So everybody's had to adjust here. So I don't think there's any sort of timeline problem.
Well, in completely unrelated news, our YouTube poll today is, are you a cat or dog person? So I just don't even know what that means.
Okay.
Cats or dogs? I'm just going to put this out here right now. Total dog person. Me, right here. You go vote on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Be or not the bee when we come back.
Every day is a winding road.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
I get a little bit closer to feeling fine. Michael's Flooring Outlet with the best flooring selection in the area here in St. Louis. It's always nice to be able to shop at a family-owned and operated business, shop with local St. Louisans, your neighbors. I appreciate how long Michael's Flooring Outlet has been able to be successful for decades and decades in this market, working with people like you. And they do it standing on the importance of quality products and great service and great prices. I can encourage you to go to igotfloor.com. That's the website where you can learn about the different types of flooring that they have. You can learn about the Revwood Select and Plus line. They have a 10-year waterproof warranty. They have a lifetime all-pet warranty. That's very helpful when you're putting in new flooring and you love your dogs or your cats and you want to make sure that the flooring is going to be able to handle that. Go to Michael's Flooring Outlet in person in any of their 3 locations in Darting Prairie, West County, or St. Charles County. You can also find them online. You can request an estimate there, see their products, read their reviews. Everything you need is right there online for Michael's Flooring Outlet at igotfloor.com.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard. Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I ended up going to a dentist, and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brooks Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brooks Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brooks Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to brooksnightguard.com and enter the code BRUX91. That's BRUX91. Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
It's up to you to figure out, is this a political question? Little hint. I don't think it is. Are you a cat or a dog person? No real hidden subtext there. We just want to know, are you a cat or a dog person here on a Friday on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll? Let us know, and we'll give you the results at the end of the show. I'm leaning dog here, but I'm waiting to see. 12:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. It's what's happening
Hi, this is Tim.
It's Kamala Harris. Good morning, Governor.
right now.
Tim Walz's record is a joke.
Keeping you informed.
A path to victory in November is the #1 priority.
And up to date. 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, Tomator hasn't always been this glam. I was a drab little crab once.
You're listening
Now
to
I
the
know I
Annie
can be
Fry
happy
Show.
as a clam, because I'm beautiful, baby. Did your granny say, listen to your heart, be who you are on the inside? I need few words to tear her argument apart. Your granny lied. I'd rather be shiny, like a treasure from a sunken pirate wreck. Scrub the deck and make it look shiny. I will sparkle like a wealthy woman's neck. Just a sec, don't you know?
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
The Bee or Not the Bee.
I got to confess here real quick that I think it's since the CrowdStrike thing, every time I click to play any sound for this radio show, there is somewhere between 4 and 8 seconds before it starts playing.
Well, that's more consistent than it used to be, though.
It used to be, before I went on vacation, I click it and it played. Maybe like 1 second. Now it's just a roll of the dice. Anywho.
Well, this is the Bee or not the Bee. These are headlines that are either fake, as in the Babylon Bee wrote them, or they're real, and you'll have to tell me which is which. First one, as Kamala campaigns, nations starting to miss the clarity and coherence of Joe Biden.
That's got to be the Bee. I had to re-listen to that in my head.
Yeah, it's the Bee. Quote, sure makes you miss Joe's way with words, doesn't it? Asked one voter as Harris attempted to finish speaking a coherent sentence. I know there were a lot of people who got really excited about Kamala, but man, when you hear her speak, it really highlights how great we had it the last few years.
You never know what you don't know.
You don't know what you have until it's gone. One more quote here. Let me be clear, said Kamala, responding to the expressed concerns. I have been clear from the beginning, and it's important that we realize the clarity of the current moment has moved on from the clarity of the past, of which we are all a part, and of which we must continue to partake in the future and the past and the present.
I hate it. I think it's stop. Oh my gosh.
There we go. Clear is when something is see-through.
That's a good that's a good Kamala quote.
Yeah, it's not a real one, but it is a good one. All right, next story. Tell me if this is real or fake. Pole vaulter's Olympic dream shattered by his own penis.
That's real.
I thought you guys had probably seen it by now. I pulled this earlier this week.
Okay, let me ask the question, man.
Okay.
Is this like the coolest and the worst thing to happen to you ever, or just no?
It's definitely not the worst. I would say it's probably the coolest.
If I had to lose,
yeah,
pretty okay way to lose.
I have an idea. Let's have all the female boxers pole vault first before they box each other.
Just to find out. Yeah, and if they don't pole vault well,
if they clear the bar,
and
you're
it's because of their penis, they're not allowed to box in the Olympics.
It's just a thought.
With the women.
Right. The 21-year-old competing in front of his home crowd.
Might be an interesting way to measure the men, too. I don't know.
Looked all set to clear 5.7 meters and take a major step toward the final of his event before disaster struck. And I won't even read the rest because you know what happened. It says, before his bulge brought down a premature end to his competition. There we go. Just had to get that last one.
I saw that an adult website had offered him a large sum of money.
Did you take it?
I didn't see that part of it. I just saw the headline. I was like, oh.
Sounds like you quit on journalism there.
I did.
Can you follow up on that with us, Brad, later in the show, maybe?
No.
Okay. Next one. CNN awarded Pulitzer for outstanding achievements in deleting old stories about Kamala Harris.
Oh. I don't think they got a Pulitzer for that.
That is correct. This is the Babylon Bee. We are incredibly honored, said CNN President Mark Thompson. Our team has worked around the clock, wiping out every story in existence about Kamala from before 10 days ago. And it's just really nice to see that hard work recognized.
Yeah.
Next one. Trump concerned if he beats Kamala in debate, they might replace her with someone good this time. yeah, just bring it back up. Just say, you don't have to start it over. Quote from Trump here. I'm in a no-win situation here, even though all I do is win.
Win, win, win.
Win, win, win.
No matter what.
Trump said to members of his campaign staff, look, I beat Crooked Joe so very badly. I beat him so badly that they dumped him and brought in Kamabla. Which
that's a thing. I don't know.
Is it?
I haven't looked.
What is that? I don't know what it is. Now, what's going to happen if I totally wipe the floor with her in the next debate? At publishing time, Trump had reportedly decided to go ahead and completely destroy Harris at the debate while closing with an impassioned plea to leave her on the Democratic ticket. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right. Tim Walz vows to make America as great as Minneapolis.
Yeah, this is the Bee.
You sure?
No. Yes.
Yeah, it's the Bee. But it sounded kind of real, didn't it? I thought this was one of the harder ones. The rest of these are pretty easy. As the governor who presided over the looting and burning of Minneapolis during the summer of 2020, I have full confidence that I will be able to apply my experience stirring up race riots on the national scale, as well as I have in my home state. Walz reportedly stated, if I am elected vice president, I solemnly swear to raise every American city to Minneapolis' level of greatness. And raise is spelled R-A-Z-E, you guys.
I get it.
You get it. All right, just a couple left here. Tell me if you think this is real or the Babylon Bee. Gavin Newsom personally clears out homeless encampment out of anger. Government officials aren't doing anything about it.
It's real.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Andy on this one. That one sounds like something he would do.
I saw the video.
I was going to say, you must have known because you knew right away. This is real.
It's an amazing video. I didn't listen to the video. It was on X earlier this morning, but he's cleaning up like an embankment or maybe underneath a bridge or
looking
like
super
whatever.
Fashionable doing it. Though.
And he's wearing these nice jeans and this like black muscle shirt. It's kind of shot from afar. And he's got white gloves on, and he's picking trash up and throwing it in a big pile, and he just looks miffed. And I'm like, well, you frickin' should be.
It's incredible the lack of self-awareness he has about some of these things. I'll read the first line of the article. It says, as soon as Gavin Newsom can find the guy who's in charge of California, he's going to let him have it.
This is not the Bee.
No, this is not the Bee.
Yeah, this is...
The quote, and this is a real quote from Gavin Newsom. It says, cities can do their part. You can apply for federal grants, but the state's unprecedented billions and billions of dollars of support, I'm not interested in providing that support and not seeing the results. I'm a taxpayer, not just the governor. I mean, that is incredible.
You know, I get it. And again, not the Bee, but it's really offensive. If you're imagining living in California, or if you've had to pick up your life and leave California because of this nonsense governor, it's outrageous.
What he's saying here is, and making a public show of it, is that he's in charge, but if it were up to him, all this homeless would be over. I've spent billions and billions and billions of your dollars trying to do so, but all my Democrat underlings, they're incompetent. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Incredible. Last one. Sad, Olympics official unable to get female boxing medal over giant Adam's apple.
This is kind of alluding to what I was talking about before.
Yeah, it's really embarrassing, recalled Jim Fisher, who has been an official the last 4 Olympic Games. The darn ribbon just wouldn't stretch over the 2-inch bump on the medalist's throat. There you go.
Ridiculous. Thank you, Ryan, for the Bee or Not the Bee. We're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we're going to get to what we missed over the week. And I think I'm also going to play, since Edward on our chat, what is happening?
Giant Hawk?
What's this?
Oh, we got a Disney song playing.
Apparently. Or just the movie. Edward was saying that maybe we haven't heard Trump praising Wallace for his handling of Minneapolis. Let's lean into that. We'll be right back.
Home values are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Leagues Cup 2024 is here. Cheer on City SC as they take on the Portland Timbers this Friday, August 9th at City Park. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, starting at just $25.
If you're looking for all the comforts of home plus some in a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville, just off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. They'll even treat you to lunch. Set up your appointment today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
Digging without having your underground utilities marked is like driving with your eyes closed. It's dangerous and irresponsible. Before you break ground, contact Missouri 811 online or simply call 811 to request a utility locate 3 working days before starting. Missouri 811 will coordinate with the utility companies who'll clearly mark their lines so you can avoid the hazards. Requesting a locate is smart, and it's the law. Safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time. This ad is brought to you by Missouri 811.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack. Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Giving talks another try. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Israel planning on sending a team as the U.S., Egypt, and Qatar try again to broker a ceasefire with Hamas as Iran inflames tensions in the region.
Iran issuing a new warning today, claiming its Navy has new cruise missiles with highly explosive warheads that are undetectable. The U.S. is reposturing its troops, announcing that Air Force F-22 Raptor fighter jets have arrived in the region to provide more maneuverability and defensive capabilities. There's also high tensions today in the northern part of Israel, where sirens blared as Hezbollah launched attacks from Lebanon. The Israeli Air Force says that it destroyed a Hezbollah command center in southern Lebanon.
Fox's Alex Hogan in Tel Aviv. Russia has declared a federal emergency in the Kursk region after a large-scale incursion from Ukraine. It's the same spot where hundreds of Ukrainian troops poured across the border 4 days ago. At least 8 people have now died in Tropical Storm Debbie. The most recent, a 78-year-old woman who was killed when a tree fell onto her home in North Carolina. The remnants of the storm are moving up the East Coast, bringing heavy rain and wind.
This storm brought us slow-moving, relentless rainfall across several tornadoes across our state. One has been confirmed by the National Weather Service, but we believe more tornadoes will be confirmed today.
North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. Forecasters say tornadoes are possible from eastern Virginia to Vermont, and parts of Vermont are preparing for another round of devastating floods. The FDA has approved the first nasal spray to treat severe allergic reactions, offering an alternative to injections like an EpiPen. At the Paris Olympics, the U.S. women 4x100-meter relay win, giving Sha'Carri Richardson her first Olympic gold medal, and the U.S. women's basketball team, led by Breanna Stewart, advanced to the gold medal game. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our temperature's running a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler, and this is going to hang around for a while. Some clouds around this afternoon. Cooler and drier air, 82 for the high. Tonight, clear skies develop. 70s for evening plans, 64 for the low. On Thursday, sunny and 85. Friday, sunny 82. The weekend, sunny and 80 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are easy to reach directly to my friend Stewie at 314-324-4440. Stewie is going to help you get into your new home, the one you've been looking to purchase, and you've been wondering about interest rates. They have come down. They are at lows compared to the last, 18 months, 2 years maybe. And he's ready to take your phone call or your text message and get the conversation started. I have heard back feedback from so many of you, Annie Fry Show listeners, who have said, okay, fine, Bagel Loan, I'll give it a try. 314-324-4440. You called him or you texted him. You started the conversation and you follow up with me and tell me how easy and great it was to work with Stewie. I've done it myself twice. I'm a repeat Bagel Loan refinance customer, and I encourage you to lean on Stewie and just ask the questions and see if it's what's right for you. You'll be glad you did. So will your bank. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan and MLS number 226715.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2024 with the Turtles, Jay and the Americans, The Association, Badfinger, The Vogues, and the Cowsills. Friday, August 16th, the Family Arena. Reserve seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
Get ready for the all-new Athleta Presents Gold Over America Tour. Join Simone Biles and America's best gymnasts for a night of action-packed gymnastics. October 15th at the Family Arena. Fun for the whole family. You and your kids will love this high-energy spectacle. Music, lights, breathtaking flips, and Gold Squad dancers. Let's go! October 15th at the Family Arena. Tickets on sale now at goldoveramericaTour.com.
Are you tired of feeling sick and tired? I'm Dr. Nick Barnes of Health From Within Family Chiropractic. Our simple 5-step approach aligns your health naturally. We correct spinal abnormalities to maximize nerve supply, focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing toxins in your body. Transform your health today with Health From Within, conveniently located on Manchester in Rock Hill, or online at healthfromwithinstl.com.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers. 314-336-1991. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, and so are St. Louis's conservative thought leaders. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is anchor man, not anchor lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
That's just what they do. That's politics. They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas, but he's much more reasonable and intelligent. I mean, the guy was an environmental attorney and cleaned up the East River. I mean, he's a legitimate guy. You know, before anybody started calling him an anti-vaxxer, which I thought he was too. I thought he was this nut, this like conspiracy theorist nut, until I read his book.
Joe Rogan coming out and endorsing the candidate, the only one that makes sense to him, RFK Jr. A lot of people are weighing in on how much of an influence Joe Rogan, we were talking earlier in the show about influencers, how much does this impact the race? And I find it interesting that Joe Rogan decides to go the RFK Jr. route. I see people suggesting 4D chess here that Joe Rogan can do better for Trump by pulling people away from Kamala Harris to go to RFK Jr. because RFK Jr. can't actually win the election, can't win the electoral votes necessary. I always think that it's like taking the hardest path to get to the end when we think about that. Like, what's the most reasonable thing here? Joe Rogan help Donald Trump more by saying you should vote for Donald Trump or by saying you should vote for RFK Jr.? Of course, we can argue that and discuss that, and probably at some point agree to disagree. But I think it does matter. RFK Jr. is going to be a factor in this race, especially if you look in the swing states. If he's pulling votes away from either of the candidates, it could very much so have a Ross Perot-like effect and cause one candidate to win over the other. I wonder if RFK Jr. manages to get through this entire election, and if he doesn't end up dropping out and endorsing somebody. He seems to have a positive relationship with Donald Trump on the whole. I can't imagine he has that much of a positive relationship with Kamala Harris and the Democrat Party, because he even offered to be the Democratic nominee when Joe Biden dropped out, and they clearly weren't interested in that. RFK Jr. could have an impact on a Donald Trump administration and work in the cabinet or as an advisor of some kind to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has had a phone conversation that RFK Jr.'s son made public without Donald Trump's permission, where Trump was leaning into RFK Jr.'s thoughts on vaccinations, among other things. So I think that there's like an open door right there for RFK Jr. to walk through if he so chooses. So potentially the idea that you would pull people away from Kamala Harris to support RFK Jr. to later have RFK Jr. drop out and endorse Donald Trump, 4D maybe. Joe Rogan endorsing RFK Jr., in my opinion, is the absolute safest thing Joe Rogan can do for Joe Rogan.
Completely 100% agree. The first thing I thought when I saw that, yeah, this is probably Joe Rogan's easiest path forward. He talks about politics a lot, so he almost has to address it. And this is the easiest way for him to address it without causing a lot of controversy.
Do people who are talking about politics have to endorse somebody?
I don't think they have to. And that's a good point, is that he doesn't have to step out and say, this is my guy. I do think, though, that it gets a lot of the heat off of him because he's going to do interviews that are probably, at this point, would sound right-leaning. 10 years ago, they wouldn't, but now they do. And so this is his way of saying, look, I'm not even on either side, though. I'm with RFK, and it's an easy out for him.
Which means Joe Rogan just endorsed Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't blame him for that. I just don't understand the pressure to endorse people. I mean, even in, like, the Illinois primary, where I cover that much more, I didn't do much of anything with the Missouri primary, and we had wall-to-wall coverage on that with our morning and afternoon drive time shows on this station, and I think we did a wonderful job at it. I was asked to moderate one of two governor debates that took place because I was being Switzerland about things. I think they trusted me with that. I was very honored and grateful to do that. I can comment on it without feeling like I have to be attached or pulled in one direction or the other. I haven't come out and said, like, I endorse Donald Trump for president. But, like, do I need to? Can't you just keep asking questions and having conversations and let the people hear what those conversations produce? I feel like, and Annie, like, I should smack myself in the forehead. I'm not comparing myself to Joe Rogan. I don't have a pinky finger imprint on influencing people the way Joe Rogan does. But it's just like, why do you need to endorse?
So you're saying you don't endorse Donald Trump. Do you endorse Kamala Harris? Is that what you're saying by default then?
I just need to learn more.
You're a swing voter.
I am a swinger. And I am not interested in making a decision too soon. I want to make sure that I fully understand which one's the communist.
You had your mind made up, but then Joe Biden dropped out. Yeah. And it's kind of thrown everything off.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming.
No, you sure didn't. Not for the last 3 years. I've been standing here and going, no, he will not drop out, Annie.
Okay, so I thought he would for a long time. That he would not be the person on the ticket. Although we went and looked back at our Christmas ornaments just the other day to see things we predicted that would happen in 2024. Joe Biden not dropping out of the race was one of the ornaments that I picked. That the Republicans would win the Senate is one of the ones that I picked. And I think that Kamala would become president was one of the ones that I picked.
Ooh, straddling the line here.
When I said Kamala would become president, I always said that Joe Biden would drop out of the race, and I thought that he would drop out, he would resign the presidency, and Kamala would then be the president. That was what I thought would happen, because I did not think that they would roll the dice with Kamala as their nominee. So maybe that there's multiple avenues for that ornament to be correctly predictable.
You didn't think that America was willing to sit by and watch the president of the United States say, I'm good to be the president for the next 6 months, but I can't run a campaign.
I thought that the Democrats would do to Kamala what they literally ended up doing to Joe, which is say, this is how it's going to go. And guess what? You get to be the first female president of the United States of America. You should thank us.
Yep.
There's still time.
Yes, there is.
You want to get to what we missed throughout the course of the week here?
Yeah.
Brad?
What did I miss?
All right, so the first clip that I want to play for you is one that I heard J.D. Vance. This was in Minnesota before Tim Walz was considered or was announced as the VP pick.
Kamala Harris questioned my loyalty to this country. That's the word she used, loyalty. And it's an interesting word, simplify, loyalty, because there is no greater sign of disloyalty to this country than what Kamala Harris has done at our southern border. And I'd like to ask the Vice President, what has she done to question my loyalty to this country? I served in the United States Marine Corps. I went to Iraq for this country. I built a business for this country. And my running mate took a bullet for this country. So my question to Kamala Harris is, what the hell have you done to question our loyalty to the United States of America?
I wish he'd just really make us believe that he was passionate.
It just sounds like he's reading from a teleprompter.
Gosh, I know. It's just word salad. You don't know what he's trying to get to.
Yeah, like, oh, yes, I'm going to fix the economy because the economy's bad. We need to fix the economy.
Sleepy JD.
Well, what I was going to say is I picked this clip because it really got me fired up.
Oh, really?
JD Vance and Tammy Bruce from earlier this week.
Yeah, man, that Tammy Bruce interview was fire. The next clip, so J.D. Vance confronted Kamala Harris. We talked about this a little bit, but J.D. Vance confronted Kamala Harris's on her plane on the tarmac. When his plane landed, he walked over, and then he challenged the media.
He didn't confront her on her plane.
No. At?
Yeah.
I mean, he walked over to the plane.
He didn't storm Air Force Two.
No.
Although.
He was there. Kamala was there.
She stayed in the plane.
She says, okay. Just
at least that is my understanding of what happened.
Harris.
Oh.
She stayed in the plane, and he's like, I just came over to look at the plane. Hopefully this will be mine someday or in the future. And then he said, and also he looks at the media, and he's like, I thought you guys might be lonely and wanted to ask me a question or two since she never lets you ask her a question. Well, this author on CNN had this to say.
So many people will be turned off by this.
Stalker.
Literally, the stalking, it's like Donald Trump walking behind Hillary Clinton during the debate. How dare you, right? This is the vice president of the United States. It shows a lack of respect. And again, for women, this is a huge election for women, women's rights, our sense of selves, our sense of not having people control our bodies and not having people control us. And so that's like stepping into her territory. It's this very the physicality of it is supposed to send a message.
She's like saying Kamala should have blown a rape whistle. It's ridiculous.
For being on the tarmac? At the same time?
That J.D. Vance was infiltrating her space, and women should have the right to their own space. You want to be the vice president of the United States? There are people who are in this country in your space right now, and you open the door for them to come here. You want to talk about autonomous spaces? Like, you're the person who's got to be in charge of this. And this is CNN, right?
Yes.
CNN anchor. I heard this on the air when I asked Brad to pull this earlier. I'm glad you played this because it made me mad. I think that it made me so mad. When I heard it, I'm like, oh, Brad, you got to pull this. And I was like, man, that really ticks me off. I don't want to hear that again. But now that you've played it, women, they get to have it both ways. And the truth is that you don't. Women are powerful. Women are equals. In fact, they might even be better than men. Women can do anything that men can do. And guess what? They can do it better. But man, if there's a man in the back of if a woman's walking and there's a man back there, that's scary stuff.
That's a good point.
She's going to feel intimidated in that situation. Women are used to feeling intimidated in that position. Does Kamala Harris feel intimidated when J.D. Vance is in her orbit? Then she shouldn't be the president of the United States. She should about face and go tell J.D. Vance what's up. And that, no, this is my plane. It's going to be Walz's plane here in a hot second, and I'm going to upgrade to Air Force One, and you got a lot of cojones coming over here approaching me about this, and then have a conversation about it. But she hid on the plane. Are women equals? And, do they have a right to be in the arena with men? Because none of that would ever be said if the top of the ticket were a man. If Kamala Harris were Joe Biden and on the plane as the vice president when Joe Biden was the vice president, and J.D. Vance would have come up, all of that would have gone out the window. But I'm pretty sure J.D. Vance would have done the same thing should the person there have been been a man on the ticket. I think he would have handled it the exact same way if they'd be hiding from everybody all the time. And plus, if your whole point is that they've been hiding the whole time, they're going to do one of two things. Come out and have a conversation with you, which J.D. Vance is betting that he can win, or they're just going to keep hiding and prove the person right.
As a man, as a big, strong guy, I feel like the rules are... No, wait, I apologize, first of all.
Yes.
Because I want to lead with that and make sure that everybody knows that I'm in the wrong going into this.
Go on.
But
I'll allow it.
Thank you. The rules seem to shift a lot. And so I'm always asking, what are the rules now? Because I just want to follow them. It sounds to me like the rules are now, as a man, we're not allowed to be in airports with women. And if that's the case, then I apologize for all my previous airport experiences.
No. Only sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes.
See, this is where it gets hard
but
for us.
But it's on you to read the signs.
Okay. So, like, if there's a press gaggle, just back away. That's your territory.
Not always.
Okay.
Sometimes.
See, this is why it's hard.
Well, it's because you're a man.
And again, I'm sorry.
I'll take it under consideration.
Okay. Let's flip your example even a little more. What if it was Kamala Harris walking up to J.D. Vance's plane and challenging him in his media?
And J.D. Vance was a beta and was
he
like,
stayed
this
up.
is intimidating me.
How does the media play that? It's like you get the girl power thing for Kamala. It's like, look at that. And then how scared and chicken is he? He won't come out to talk to her. She's just a little old girl.
I'm telling you what, if I were in the vice presidential position as a female, I would so do that.
Mm-hmm.
I would utilize that. I would just own that, which people aren't comfortable with either. It's kind of a Carrie Lake thing to do. And even when Carrie Lake is a little aggressive in her approach, I kind of lean back a little bit from it. I don't know if I want Carrie Lake to win. I endorse Carrie Lake.
You're on record?
Yes, I want that seat to go red. She won the nomination, correct? She's a candidate.
Yeah.
Arizona said that she's their candidate.
And Ruben Gallego.
So yes, I want Carrie Lake to win. I fully endorse her. But there are things she does sometimes. She was in the media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that she has... I want to believe that she wants to be doing it for the right reasons. And I hope that she is. But Carrie Lake is totally somebody who would go do that.
If Carrie Lake were the VP in this situation,
Yeah.
would CNN be protecting her?
No.
I couldn't get the question out.
No. No, not at all. You got any more, Brad, before we
I got one more here for you.
Before I was elected vice president, before I was elected as a United States senator, I was elected attorney general, and before that, elected district attorney, and before that, I was a courtroom prosecutor. So hear me, Detroit, when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. I know Donald Trump's type.
You're fired. I don't have the ability to do that. No, heck, I'm fired. Bye.
In a blizzard.
Yeah, I know, Snow Woman.
Doesn't it sound like that?
Yes, Amy Klobuchar. Salad cone eater.
Yep.
she did the same thing. Why can you not change it up a little bit?
Well, if you're speaking at multiple locations like they're doing in one day, of course you're going to use elements of the same speech. I don't fault them for that, but it is like going up there with no ability to talk off the side at all. You are just reading.
Jesse Waters put together a montage where at the end he has her saying it like at the same time together, and she's like almost harmonizing with herself.
Yeah.
The delivery is exactly the same. What?
It's cut 8. We have that.
I don't want to hear it. No.
Brad, get out of here.
You were here, Ryan, when this happened. Brad, you were probably maybe listening when this discussion was had on the air. Joe Biden becomes the nominee, and I said on the air, you know who they're going to pick, right? You know who I detest the most to listen to, right? Freaking Kamala Harris. And then he picked her, and then they won, and now she's running for president, and it's my duty to play. Can we? Okay. Idea. How much for that Snoop Dogg filter?
Oh.
To own it.
Oh, okay.
What if we only
the
play...
AI thing?
Yes, that we use for X's and O's.
Yeah.
What if we play Kamala Harris sound bites, but only a Snoop Dogg?
Okay. Because it would be more palatable?
Because then I could
listen
suffer
to it.
through it. I don't know if Snoop might sue us, but that could be cool.
Okay.
What if you told me the bad news in a good way?
We'll be
so it
right
didn't
back.
sound so bad.
Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. I'm a multi-time customer of Cassins. You can find them online at cassinscan.com. Are you a Jeep lover? I want you to check out Cassins & Sons. We own a Jeep from them, not a Wrangler, maybe someday when we're not carting all these kids around, but they have great inventory and they have the ability to get you the vehicle that you've been looking for. If you're looking for a certain trim or a specific color, the best sales folks in the business at Cassins & Sons, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram are going to be able to connect you, work with you, get you a great price on a vehicle that you were going to feel safe and happy with. 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712. And like I said, you can find them online at cassinscan.com, and you can see their used inventory, their new inventory. And when you find them, if you decide to stop by and swing through their lot or talk to somebody, they are not high-pressure salespeople. They are good people. They really want to make sure that at the end of your conversation with them, however long it takes, that you are happy with a purchase and you don't feel pressured at all. I appreciate Cassins, and that's why I go to them for my vehicles. I hope you will too. CassinsCan.com.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Supporting your nutrition should be easy. That's why we created the Neovitin Women's Multivitamin monthly subscription. Get your daily Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered directly to your door every month. You can pause or cancel your subscription at any time with no long-term obligations. With B vitamins to support energy, vitamin D for bone support, and our physician-formulated proprietary blend, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is here to support your nutrition every day. Start supporting your nutrition and sign up for a monthly Neovitin Women's Multivitamin subscription today at neovitin.com.
It is the end of summer sale with Zero Res. Whether you're looking to clean up before or after a barbecue, get ready for the fall, or get ready for the school year, Zero Res has you covered. They had to help me with some pet disasters here in the last month, and they do a great job with that. They can do biotreatments, etc. But maybe you just haven't had the carpets cleaned in a long time. Let's correct that right now with a great offer for the month of August from St. Louis's Ultimate Carpet Cleaner. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, starting at $119. Great time to get the air ducts cleaned as well. 20% off your air duct cleaning. They have this crazy H2 Hypervac truck that will park in your driveway with a bunch of hoses. It looks futuristic, but it does the job. It sucks all that gunk out of your home. And your air ducts are like the lungs of your home. If they're dirty, your indoor air quality suffers. So call Zero Res today. Get the deal for August. Mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. 314-474-2020. or online, ZeroResSTL.com. 3 rooms starting at $119, 20% off air duct cleaning, Zero Res. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Ira Melman, who is with the Federation for American Immigration Reform.
We don't know how many people got in. We don't know who they are, where they are, and that ought to concern us.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You have to ask me nicely. Don't make me beg here.
Ask me anything.
Tell me the truth! So our YouTube live chat poll for today is, are you a cat or a dog person? I wanted to leave this just cat and dog as options, but I didn't want to listen to all the people going, but I have both, or whatever it might be. So we have 4 options: cat, dog, both, or neither. Obviously, J.D. Vance called out the left being run by childless cat ladies. So I think that's kind of taken on a life of its own. And now there are cat ladies for Harris, but there are also cat ladies for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a cat lady.
I'm not either.
I'm a dog lady. Are you a dog lady?
I am a dog lady.
Definite dog person. I've never had a cat of my own, but I've definitely been around people who have cats, and I just feel like cats are, I know that this sounds backwards, but I feel like cats are higher maintenance.
You know what? Yeah, that is backwards.
No.
Yeah, it is. You don't have to do anything. You just got to set out a poop tray.
I know, and you hope they use it.
And then you got to clean it up.
Yeah. But the dog you got to take out unless you have a doggy door.
It's hard to be. I just feel like the experience I have with people who have cats, it's more evident when you walk in their house that there are cats in the house than if you walk into a house and there are dogs.
That's true. That's true.
So, dog person here. But cats could be great. I could see myself becoming an older lady and maybe enjoying a cat and being a liberal. Just kidding. What do you
the
think?
party'd have to move. The country would move pretty far left before you'd be right of it.
Yeah. Cat or dogs? Neither, both?
I would say dogs, but I don't have anything right now. When I married my wife, I married into both a cat and dog. And so I became both a cat and dog person, except I'm allergic to cats. So we had to put the cat in our old house. It was kind of it was kind of a nasty old
How much
basement.
of a cat person aren't you?
We had a house from the 1800s that had a basement that wasn't finished.
Mhm.
So you can picture what kind of basement that was. It was just kind of old and dank.
Yeah, the kind you have nightmares about.
Mm-hmm. And we had to put the cat down there like permanently because I couldn't be around it, but we couldn't find anybody to adopt it.
Yeah.
And then the cat within about a month just died. And I've always been blamed for that by my wife because she says he died of loneliness and sadness.
She's the one who asked me to ask you about this.
And thank you for saying yes, because
Wanted to get you on record.
I am now on record as saying that I've said for years that no, it was just an old cat, which is true.
It was really nice of you, though. We were just talking on break to talk about how you wanted to get a cat again.
I didn't say any of that. I did say thank you for the oatmeal cream pie, and I'll say that again.
I did give him one. A little one.
I will say now, though, that the cat probably did die of loneliness and sadness.
That's the saddest thing ever.
It's terrible, but there's nothing we could do. We couldn't find anybody to adopt it. I'm allergic. There was no option. And I've always felt really bad about that. Hopefully she's not listening.
Or PETA. Brad?
Yeah, I'm a dog person, and the reason I'm a dog person is like Ryan, I am also allergic to cats, but it's not every cat. It's mainly long-haired cats, I found out.
The ones by the liberals.
I mean, I can walk by a person
Harris.
that has a long-haired cat, and I will start getting itchy eyes and all that other stuff. So I'm highly allergic to it. But I grew up. To me, cats were always mousers. They're for outside for killing mice and keeping the farm, clear of rodents and
That's
whatnot.
what I told my wife too.
And but man, there is nothing like a companion dog. That's to me that like cats are higher maintenance. There's an expression. Dogs have masters, cats have staff. So I'm a dog person. I just like the unconditional adornment I get from my dog.
You got a question?
Yeah, I do. Okay. If in the next 10 years, if you could predict what state will grow the most in population and which state will shrink the most?
California is shrinking quite a bit. I wonder how. I mean, California has like the California thing about it. There's so much there to like, and just a really unfortunate government to make it unlivable. And you wonder how bad California has to be before they decide to do something different, where you have some sort of moderate, very moderate Republican, or the Democrat Party comes out and says, we're going to make a change. I just don't see that happening. That's not the way the Democrat Party right now at the very top is going. They're sprinting to the left. So Tennessee, I could see continuing to grow pretty rapidly. And shrinking, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I was going to say the same thing about the growing. I think Tennessee probably has the most to gain. It's a pretty state, especially the eastern part has a lot of mountains and stuff.
Arkansas could really see some influx if Sarah Huckabee Sanders gets rid of the income tax like she's talked about and really keeps moving in that direction.
Yeah, because it's a multi-party question because it's not just politics. I mean, we talk politics, but it is politics, but it's also what does the state have to offer? You know, there's an art scene in Nashville that a lot of people enjoy, so it's growing like crazy. What state's going to shrink the most? It might be Illinois, because I don't see that Chicago seems like a fun place to be when I'm there, except for the crime and the cost of living and the things that I'm not sure what people are paying for to be there. And there's a lot of other places, like you mentioned, California, that, yes, it's got bad policy, but you're right on the beach. It's awesome temperatures most of the year. So there's reason to be there and kind of weather those bad policies. Illinois doesn't have that.
Man, the first two states that popped into my mind were Illinois for out-migration, and it was Tennessee. I think Tennessee's doing really well. Florida, to me, seems like they're doing great, but they're almost bursting at the seams.
I thought the same thing about Texas, too.
And the other thing is, like California, to Annie's point, California has a tremendous out-migration, but I think you're getting to the point where the people that can't afford to leave have left. And then the people that are there that are stuck. And then you look at Illinois, and the thing about Illinois is there's no hope. There's no bright spot on the future. There's nothing on the horizon. Who knows? I could be way off on that, and there could just be a surprise rising star that comes in and turns a state around. But if things remain the way they are for the next 10 years, this state is going to lose tremendous amounts of population.
Brad, you got a question?
I do. I will go with the positive one. I've got a positive one and a negative one here. And I want to go back to high school. What was your most memorable moment in high school?
You go first.
Well, my most memorable moment in high school for me overall was not a great experience. My most memorable moment was actually graduating high school. And the reason that was the most memorable to me was because of all the stuff that I went through, that I was able to push through it. I was able to get through it all and not only graduate, but graduate a little bit early, have enough credits and everything built up that I could get out earlier. Now, I didn't walk in my graduation, but having that diploma and saying, there, it didn't matter how hard it was, I stuck it out and I was able to do it. That was my most memorable moment.
In my senior year, there's a competition called Mr. Homecoming where all the guys who want to compete to be the top dog and get the title of Mr. Homecoming. And you have to do a talent portion to do this. And it's on a stage in front of a live studio audience. I did river dance. And
my understanding is there's video of this.
There is video of this.
I demand it.
I've got it.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
So I did river dance. Now, I'm telling you ahead of time that the track that I'm tapping to is not me actually tapping. I tapped to a track that was a real river dance song, or Lord of the Dance, one of the two, I don't remember. And apparently it fooled everybody who was watching it, even though, like, I'm just going like this, and I'm wearing a pirate shirt to make it look like I'm Michael Flatley. And I'm just moving my feet around and acting like I'm tapping like an idiot. I'm looking so stupid on purpose. And people are like, wow, he really sounds like not just one person tapping, but an entire chorus of people tapping. So I don't know how it fooled people, because also halfway through it, I got on a pogo stick and the tapping continued.
Right.
But it was so great because the next day, kinds of
did you win?
rumors. I got second place. I didn't win.
First loser.
Yeah, exactly. No fear. And
You should be like what is the second? What title would you have for that? Just
first loser.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Homecoming Prince, but what you went for Homecoming King, it was Mr. Homecoming.
It was Mr.
It's a different thing.
Yeah. So anyway, the next day was a lot of fun. It was my high school highlight, I think, because there were so many. It was before social media. People were just creating rumors about me and my past as a tap dancer. And I was like, this is the best moment of my life.
Has any of that lived on?
I don't know. I think enough people realized, because there is video of it, that there's no way this guy could be doing that. That it kind of dispelled the rumor. And I wasn't feeding the rumor. I was saying, no, my grandpa was not in Riverdance, because that was one of them. So there was all these rumors. But it was a blast for a good week and a half.
Best memory from high school? I don't know that I have one. Is that weird?
No.
You had to have some sort of highlight, sports or academic. No? Pretty average?
Man, I never achieved. Well, I mean, I went to state and track my senior year, but I didn't place or anything like that. I made it, but it wasn't in a sport that I really enjoyed doing. So it's kind of offensive. It's like all this other things I really love doing. And, I mean, I can remember getting my license and getting behind the wheel for the first time. I mean, I remember the temperature of the air when I got into my 1991 Ford Probe Red with the seatbelts that went bzzz. That was pretty amazing. My parents were golfing, I think, that day. I got my license, and this is back when you couldn't just immediately contact people. And I was like, I have to go for a drive. And they weren't there to ask if I could leave. And it's like the concept of just leaving was a wild concept. And I just thought, gonna ask for forgiveness on this one instead of permission. And I went and drove for like 30 minutes or something, went and saw my friend Kelly. I was like, hey, I'm driving. And she's like, hey, you're driving. She had already had her license, and she drove me everywhere because we went to high school together. And I just remember feeling free and like driving a lap around Edwardsville and then being like, well, I guess I'll go home now.
Yeah.
But I don't have, I could also stay out.
Yeah.
But I'll go home. And my parents got home and they're like, you went for a drive? Where did you go? And I told them, they're like, you know, you can't just leave. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And they were like, okay, don't do that again. And that was really it. So, I mean, that's not really like special, but
it's a good memory.
I mean, I can remember where the car was parked in the driveway when I got in, and I like picked, I've told this story before, put that key in the ignition and turn it on, and Celebration started playing on the radio, like with the start of the engine. It was pretty great.
Do you remember being like, hey, I'm just going to run down to Dairy Queen real quick, and not saying in Caseyville or whatever, like some town next door, because it would just take longer?
I didn't escape to Caseyville on my first drive. No.
Oh, man, I did. That's my favorite Kurt Russell movie.
We'll answer more of your questions when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Triton Exteriors. If you're younger than me, you may not have ever really experienced truly great customer service. You will with Triton Exteriors. We're a James Hardie siding company. We have a huge color selection. We do fences. We do pretty much everything on the exteriors. We have a great reputation. We have tons, 800 positive online reviews with Angie's List. Great with the BBB. Call 314-717-1159 or book online at triton-stl.com.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Well, the Annie-Fry YouTube live chat poll today has me kind of stumped because I said in the last time check that it's not really political, and then I realized that it might be highly political. Are you a cat or dog person is the surface question. How you take it, I'm just going to say, is up to you. It's a YouTube live chat poll. Let us know what you think. 145 this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Focus Marines Foundation is here to help veterans transition from service to civilian life, and we're here to support them. This is Mark Cox inviting you to get involved in this month's Conservatives Care effort by visiting 971talk.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
And she took off my pants, but then I turned on the TV. And that's about the time she walked away.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We're doing a little Ask Us Anything. I have a question for you guys. Do you have a recurring dream?
A recurring dream? Man.
No, do you just have dreams?
I have dreams
and
all
hopes?
the time, and they're wonderful.
Are you a dreamer?
You may say I'm a dreamer, but
Okay.
I'm not the only one.
Brad, are you?
I definitely have dreams. I don't know that I've ever had a recurring dream, though.
Are you more? How much of your dreams do you remember? How frequently do you wake up and remember a dream?
Okay. The other day, Brad is standing in my office. And
Is this in a dream or is this in real life?
No, this is real life.
Are you sure?
No. He's standing in my office, and he points at something on Fox News, and it hit. And this is the way I remember dreams a lot, is it hit, oh, yeah, I had a dream about
Kind of
that.
a deja vu.
It was
type of
about
thing?
Harris Faulkner being a famous actress. And I was like, oh, my gosh, she's a famous actress. We've had her on the show.
She could be a classic actress from the 40s or something. She's got that whole classic thing about her.
But she was, and I think it was after the Trump interview with the Black Journalists Association that I had this dream. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, because it was like she left the stage in the dream and then she walked right onto a movie set. I'm like, oh my gosh, she just does everything. She's
Is that your recurring dream?
That's I dream about Harris Faulkner all the time.
Do you?
No, Fox News dreams in general.
Do you have recurring dreams?
Not really.
Or
I used
themes?
to have dreams that I was flying and that I had figured out how to fly.
Yourself?
No, not flapping my arms. That's ridiculous. No, I could just sort of start to go up. And the weird thing in the dream was I was never real...
Jesus' ascension?
Kind of.
Okay.
But I was never real good at it. I was always kind of like, okay, I can,
Brian,
but...
are your dreams funny?
In retrospect, they are.
No.
While I'm in them, they're not.
Stressful?
Not stressful. They're just weird.
That's like the most Brian Wiggins thing ever. They make no sense. They're kind of just there and meta. Do they stress you out? No, not really.
Nah.
They're just weird. What about you, Brad?
I've never had a recurring dream. At least I don't think I've had a recurring dream. When you say recurring dream, it's the exact same thing over and over and over again.
Or concept. Or
Concept. I've had
theme.
themes that have recurred, and they usually pop up about once a month as far as a recurring theme. And I don't know why that is, and
hormones.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always
Just
tell.
in that moment. The hormones got me thinking about pepperoni pizza. I don't.
Is that your dream?
No,
Is that your
no.
recurring dream?
No.
I don't want any more detail.
I walk in and he's eating a personal Totino's, and I'm like, uh-oh. Let's stay away from him for a couple days.
If Mendit did have PMS, that's exactly what it would look like.
Oh, my gosh. Brad's just going at that pizza.
Totino's alert. Totino's alert. What is your recurring dream?
He's not even eating it. His face
Can we
is
change
in
the
it.
subject?
Yeah.
What is it? Can you talk about it?
Not really, but it's usually about problem solving some sort of issue that's continually bothering me, and I'm trying to do it. And it's not any specific issue that's specific to my life, but the issue keeps popping up. And I don't know if that means that there's something that I'm trying to solve in my life and that's how my brain is working through it, but it's always something weird.
One of my key recurring dreams, and I have a version of this every probably week. So we asked before what our high school, like our most memorable high school moment was. I went to the Lutheran High School my freshman year. I went to Edwardsville High School my sophomore year. Wanted to go back to the Lutheran High School, so I ended up going back to the Lutheran High School for my junior and senior year. So it was very disjointed. And I was a 4-sport athlete in high school. I did volleyball, basketball, softball, and track. When I was at Edwardsville High School, which was at the time we had 1A and 2A. Now there's like 52A. And Edwardsville is somewhere up there. Edwardsville was a 2A school. Metro East Lutheran High School was a 1A school. And I played volleyball, basketball, and did track at Edwardsville, which meant I had to sit out an entire year of sports my junior year in high school, which was very difficult to do. And I will weekly have the dream that Annie, there's been a change. You get to go, you get to play.
Wow, you really do have this dream often, because I think it was over a year ago we've talked about this.
Yes. But I'm always like 40 and I got to go back and play basketball with these whippersnappers. And that's how you know I'm old. And I'm, in shape the way I'm in shape right now, which I'm in decent shape for being 40 and having 4 kids. But could I be in better shape? Yeah. Am I the way I was when I was a varsity basketball player at 17 and pretty much played the whole game? I am not. I am not that girl anymore. I groan when I stand up from the floor, to stand up. But it's always some form of, they're giving me my uniform and I'm like, do I get to wear the number 43? That was my basketball uniform number. Or maybe I'm playing softball or something, because I did softball in addition to volleyball, basketball, and track at Metro. And I always have and I always get to the point where I'm just about to get on the court or field to compete. And then I wake up. So I never actually have to do the thing, but initial onset of great excitement, I get this back, followed immediately like, holy crap, I can't do this. And then just a bunch of fretting.
Have you ever looked into how to try to control your dreams?
I can sometimes.
Can you?
Oh, yes.
How do you have strategies, or do you just kind of take it over?
I have whiteboards in my bedroom.
With strings between points?
No, I can. It's lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
I can do some of that. Sometimes.
Well, they say there's a couple things you can do, and one of them is to, in your dream, try to look at a clock. And if you find a clock and you can see what time it is, it kind of grounds you into a reality, because there's no time in dreams.
Doesn't a normal dream last 8 minutes?
If that.
If
yes,
even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can control about 45 seconds of that.
Okay.
And then I wake up, and then I go back to bed and try to get back into the dream and keep going, and can't usually do that, but sometimes.
The worst is when they're so real and you're just about to wake up, that you wake up and you are mad at somebody or you're upset and you're like, wait a minute, none of this is real.
Have you ever gotten like halfway through your day and then seen somebody and then been like, oh my gosh, none of that happened?
Yeah, I just did it with Harris Faulkner.
Yeah. Here's another question. Kim asks, what's your favorite person in the Bible? Jesus is a given.
Okay.
We're not going to set Jesus aside. We're going to put him in front. What is your second favorite person in the Bible?
Second favorite. Okay. It's tied between two people. It is either Enoch or Elijah because they went to heaven without dying.
No, that's why.
Yeah. Now, I love the story. And the story of Enoch is very interesting because there's so little of it in the Bible, but there's references in the Bible to the book of Enoch. And if you read the book of Enoch, it tells a little bit more of a story. And you don't really know like how inspired this is or how it isn't. So he's a fascinating character. As far as like learning from people though, like Elijah is pretty awesome. I mean, obviously somebody's got to pick Paul. I'll take Elijah and Enoch so that somebody else can take Paul.
Brad?
Peter.
Oh.
I look at Peter and it's like, yeah, I can see a lot of myself in the way that Peter does things. I do things the way that he did. Very brash and really quick to do something, but then he sticks his foot in his mouth a lot, you know. He was the first one. I actually talked about this last Sunday whenever I was preaching. He was the first one to acknowledge that Jesus was the Messiah of the disciples whenever Jesus asked, who do you say that I am? And he's like, oh, you're the Christ, you're the Messiah,
and then,
the Son of God. And then he goes on, then when Jesus is on, you know, being persecuted and ready to be put on the cross, they're like, hey, aren't you that guy that was, no, 3 times he does it. Of course, he's also the one that where like Jesus is like, well, come out to me. And he steps out of the boat and he walks on water, but then he looks around, he's like, uh-oh, and he starts to sink. So Jesus has to pull him up. I relate to that so much because it's like, yes, I know in my head that it does it, but whenever you're in the middle of whatever it is God has called you to do, you start looking around and you're like, uh-oh, this is really scary.
I am glad that you said that. I am doing something on the Andy Fry Show podcast that nobody knows about yet.
I don't know anything about this.
No, nobody knows about it. I've got an 11-minute podcast episode that is going to be uploaded Saturday morning. And it's going to be a reflection on the week from me, but not political. It's going to kind of be a grounding for me. And I'm doing this for me as a way to get myself out of the last week and into the next week with my head on straight. So I want to be more connected to Bible study or more in thought about it more than just prayer. And so I have it recorded. It's going to be released on the podcast, Andy Fry Show podcast. So wherever you get your podcast from, if you are a subscriber already, it will come to you tomorrow morning. I'm going to have it post at probably 6 a.m. And it's a reflection on my confirmation verse is the Deuteronomy, be strong and courageous verse. And Joshua 1:9 is be strong and courageous. But Joshua 1:9 starts with a little phrase that I don't think anybody ever highlights. And I talk about the phrase in there, have I not commanded you? And so I want to encourage you, if you haven't subscribed to the Annie Fry Show podcast yet, and this sounds interesting to you, I'm going to start adding things on Saturdays, this specific thing, but some other additional stuff that is outside of the news and politics that we do every day. And we put a ton of stuff on that podcast, but on Saturday mornings, you'll get that. It is a Christian reflection, and I'm not going to preach to you here on the show. Some of you probably think I do anyway. But I'm going to add that. And I've already recorded it, and I will be preparing that to be uploaded tomorrow morning. My favorite person is probably David, because I think that King David's story in the Bible is an incredibly important lesson for people to learn about how hopeless it can look and how powerful you can be made to be and how you can still completely fail. And the arc of King Saul and King David, and then is it Absalom that's next?
Yes. I don't know.
There's a story, the book, Tale of Three Kings, A Study in Brokenness, was given to me by a teacher of mine who is actually a teacher of my son's now. That's pretty amazing. And Mr. G, it's David, Saul, and Absalom. And it talks about how God chose all of them to be king, and they were all broken individuals. And anybody who goes through life thinking you got it figured out and the brokenness of the world won't get to you, then you make yourself God. And everybody does it, and I do it, and that was a great book. A Tale of Three Kings is I recommend it, but I'd say David.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I bet the podcast is going to be good, too, because I like that 3 minutes.
I hope so. Nobody's listened to it. And like I said, I didn't ask for permission to do it.
I hope it doesn't suck.
Me too. If it does, please forgive me. We'll be right back for the 2 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
Nobody likes you when you're 23, and I still wanna lose my bank.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Heading out west, I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Former President Trump taking his campaign to Montana tonight to lend a hand to a Republican Senate candidate.
This is who it's between. You got incumbent Democrat Montana Senator John Tester. He's been in office since 2007. He is not endorsing Kamala Harris. He's going up against Republican challenger Tim Sheehy. He is a Navy SEAL. This race expected to be very tight. They've been attacking each other with ads nonstop. We've been hearing some of them on the radio out here. And Trump said yesterday races like this one are why he's deciding to come out west.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Bozeman, Montana. Vice President Harris and running mate Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will be in Arizona.
It's clear this week's Battleground State Tour is all about introducing Walz and his progressive record to voters, but some believe that could backfire in this region.
Fox's Mark Meredith in Glendale, Arizona. A California man sentenced to 20 years in prison for attacking police with flagpoles during the January 6th Capitol riot. David Dempsey's sentence is among the longest in the hundreds of prosecutions. The Biden administration will not allow extremists, including Israel, to push the Gaza ceasefire deal off course. Those words from White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby, but he also said the U.S. remains committed to protecting Israel.
President Biden is fully prepared to defend Israel yet again with the United States military. And again, this is the second time that he will have done this in 4 months.
Kirby says Hamas and Israeli representatives will try again next week to reach a deal to end the war. Reports of catastrophic flooding in parts of Pennsylvania as the remnants of Tropical Storm Debbie head north.
As Debbie keeps moving, parts of New York and New England will see significant rainfall that could cause dangerous flooding this weekend.
Fox Weather's Katie Byrne in Harrisburg. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Our temperature's running a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler, and this is going to hang around for a while. Some clouds around this afternoon. Cooler and drier air, 82 for the high. Tonight, clear skies develop. 70s for evening plans, 64 for the low. On Thursday, sunny and 85. Friday, sunny 82. The weekend, sunny and 80 each day. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Diamond Shop, they are there to make sure that you get a wonderful experience when it comes to purchasing some fine jewelry. I have wonderful pieces from there that my husband has shopped for me. Also, ones that I have picked out myself, and I've always appreciated their knowledge, their ability to impart their knowledge into what we are looking for, and to be able to walk out of there thinking we got a very, very great value on what we purchased. Right now, through tomorrow, you can get 50% off diamond bracelets. And if you go in there, make sure you mention the Annie Fry Show when you come say hi. Look for an opportunity to save on something really, really special and beautiful with those 50% off diamond bracelets. They have 40% off all Peridot jewelry all month long, and 30% off all in-stock jewelry all month long. You can go to the Diamond Shop and know you're going to be treated with respect. You're going to have a wonderful experience working with the people there to customize something if that's what you're looking to do, or to get a great savings on something they have in stock today. You can find them online at thediamondshop.net.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Leagues Cup 2024 is here. Cheer on City SC as they take on the Portland Timbers this Friday, August 9th at City Park. Tickets are on sale now at SeatGeek.com, starting at just $25.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you need the best. Onder Law. Hurt on the job? Call Onder Law today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here. Not because of a label, but because conservative ideas actually work. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We have moved through most of our normal Friday stuff today. We took calls at 12:25, and we were asking folks if you thought that the Donald Trump campaign strategy right now is a smart one. And people are suggesting that maybe Donald Trump isn't doing enough in order to fully compete in this campaign. I think a lot of people are, what did they say, 19 days that Kamala Harris has been the nominee? Is that about right?
That sounds about right.
19 days that she's been the nominee, and that Donald Trump hasn't been out there fighting back enough. And What do you think about that, Ryan? Are you wanting him to do more?
I don't know how he does a lot more. He's doing the same thing he's always done. I guess the criticism is that he hasn't adjusted his strategy as much, but this is such a late in the game switch. Maybe the RNC should have been more ready for it given Joe Biden's state, but I don't think Trump's really done anything wrong, and he is getting on board with this switch now. I mean, his attacks of Kamala in the first week and a half were kind of all over the place. We saw in that press conference yesterday, they are getting more pointed about what she's good at, what she's not, especially with Tim Walz now. He's given them new fodder. So I don't really think that they've done anything wrong.
What about you, Brad?
I don't disagree with Trump's strategy at all. I think that, like you were saying earlier, that you got to keep your powder dry for whenever the hits matter, that you've got to let it kind of breathe a little bit. Kamala Harris was going to have momentum being the VP pick because the Democrats were so incredibly depressed with Joe Biden. I mean, you guys remember how down they were on that? And then whenever they did that, that was like getting a pardon from the governor on a death sentence. They're like, oh, gosh, we got a chance. And going from not having any chance at all to having a chance lit a fire under Democrats. They were excited about it. There's nothing Trump could have done in that moment to jump in there and stem that tide. There's not an explosion big enough, an arrow big enough, or whatever that he would have in his campaign quiver that would be able to stem that tide. So he decided to let it burn itself out, and I think that was the right decision. Now, he can't keep letting it go. He's going to have to go in, and he's going to have to get involved, and I think yesterday's press conference was the first salvo of that. But, yeah, he definitely I think he's fine. I think he's doing what he needs to do.
You want to look at some polls?
What did you say?
Do you have the rolls?
Oh. If you said polls or something though,
CNBC.
like yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Shh. Let's get this over with. CNBC, August 8th, yesterday. General election, Trump versus Harris. Trump up +2. Rasmussen, Trump up +5. Marquette poll, what do you know about them? Nothing?
They're in the pack.
General election, Harris +4. NPR, PBS, Marist poll.
NPR Marist favors Democrats.
PBS.
Yeah.
Harris +3. Those are from Tuesday. And then Monday, these are all general, Trump versus Harris. An I&I tip poll, Harris +1. Survey USA, Harris +3. Morning Consult, Harris +4.
Morning Consult is a terrible poll.
Well, my point here is that the best that Harris does right now is +4. Rasmussen on last Thursday, not yesterday, but the Thursday before, had Trump +5. And then Tuesday, July 30th, so that's a week and a half ago, Harvard-Harris poll, Trump +4. It feels right now very much like Kamala Harris has the most positive attention. You can't look at the way Donald Trump is covered. It never feels positive. You really generally, as a supporter of Donald Trump, can gauge how well you think it's going by how much the left is pulling their hair out.
Yeah, that's very true.
When I was on vacation and they shot at Trump, and then the convention was happening and it was going so well, and people were talking about how well produced the convention was and how much hope there was that was provided by it. And I even tweeted out, like, I feel so good about this news cycle right now. I'm watching MSNBC. And it was funny to watch them because they were distraught.
Mm-hmm.
They were a mess. Van Jones on CNN was like, we're in trouble. This is a problem. Okay, well, that moment passed, and now there's a new moment in here, and it's been all Kamala all the time. All the positivity that is coming out of this Kamala Harris freshness and the Walz pick freshness, they're going to go into a DNC convention here and probably, you would think, get a tiny bump out of that. But if they have protesters all over their convention talking about freeing Palestine and telling Kamala Harris to stop the genocide, they're not going to have the smooth sailing convention that is going to be all sunshine and roses that the Republicans did, unless they've done something dramatic to implement security around the convention, which looks like police officers and fences and walls in Chicago. I don't feel like the convention is going to have the bump that the Republicans had at the moment. And right now, while it is more Harris exposure from a manufactured, produced kind of element, the best she can do is morning consult +4. If Donald Trump is saving the rounds in the chamber right now for a later time, then it's probably inflammatory. It's obviously metaphorical. If he's waiting to release all of this opposition research that you know that they have, there's plenty to talk about with her. She's going to have to go out in an unscripted fashion at some point. She does have to. She has to. And then we'll see what the media chooses to tell people about it, if they choose to tell people about it. If these numbers were bigger in favor of Harris, most of these are inside the margin.
Thank you for bringing up polling.
Good.
The morning consult poll, since you mentioned it. That poll did swing states. It had Harris up by 12 in Michigan and Trump up by 4 in Pennsylvania. That makes 0 sense to anyone. Some of these polls that have come out since she has launched her candidacy are just total nonsense.
No, they're not. Well, they are nonsense in the way that polls are nonsense. They're being used to manipulate people.
Yes, they are.
Which is why I hate them.
Some of them are good and some of them are not. And some of them do genuinely show that she's had a bump, especially with Democrat kind of outcast voters who are coming back home. And that's where you see a couple numbers rise. But that's about it. And I want to just say, I think at this DNC too, when this happens, she will be, like you said, she will be on script. It'll be very polished. I think it might be the turning point for the campaign because if anybody's going to actually tune in to hear Kamala Harris, that'll be the moment. Oh, this is her big speech. They will realize that even if she does great, she's still not that good.
Just horrible to listen to.
She's just not good to listen to. I don't even know what kind of points they're going to make other than Donald Trump is terrible because they have no policies. But that moment could be kind of the reverse of what they're looking for it to be because she's just so unlikable. And I think that is going to be a big surprise to Democrats that this DNC may not be what they think it's going to be.
I just think it's worthy of note when we're looking at the campaigns. Of course, the polling that they're going to use to make calls on which direction they go next are generally internal polls, which is different than what is discussed and pandered about on news shows like ours. So, do I trust the Trump campaign? I don't trust them any less than I trust the media to take these numbers and try to manipulate people with them. Edward asked on YouTube, since talking politics is your guys' job, do you hate talking about it in your free time?
No, I don't mind it at all. In fact, it comes up a lot because it's our job and people know that we are interested in it and they can talk about it with us. So when when somebody brings it up with me, unless they're trying to report something to me that we've covered 5 days ago and I'm like, well, yes, I do already know that. And they're telling me like it's new information. I love talking about it though.
Yeah, I appreciate when people talk to me about it and they like, it seems to me a lot of people that want to talk to me about it off air are asking my opinion on something. And I'm humbled by that. It's like, okay, you think that my opinion's important enough to get what I have to say on that. So A, thank you for that. And B, they have like a lot of questions. I think the opportunity to help them calm down a little bit is really, it's actually a blessing.
I get approached very often about, in social settings, people generally bring it up. And I don't mind having those conversations as long as the conversation is not happening in mixed company where we don't understand where everybody is politically. Because it's never my intention to, in my personal life, be as bold or aggressive in positioning as I would on my show, because here I am talking, and if nobody's listening, then I'm not offending anybody. If everybody's listening, whoever tuned in, you chose to do this. You can turn the station off or the app off or the stream off just as easy as you turn it on. So in a more personal situation where it's an actual in-person conversation, I don't ever presume that people know what I do for a living. So, I don't know where everybody is politically, and I don't want to offend anybody just because you think something different politically than me. That doesn't mean that I will like you any less, although I haven't always found that the opposite of that is always true. People find out that you're a conservative, and then they don't want to be associated with you anymore. So it really depends on me, like what the setting is.
It's funny because so much of what we do is just talking about politics that I think without trying to, we kind of know how to frame our thoughts and even sort of message. And when you go outside of this setting and you're just talking with somebody, it's exactly like you said. You kind of need to know who you're talking to know how to say the same thing. Because if you're talking to a group of Democrats, you're not just going to lead with like MAGA stuff. You're going to talk about policy. But if you're talking to a group of people who are already all, I have a guys group that I go to sometimes with church, and it'll veer into politics pretty often just because people just talk about whatever. And I know that they all kind of lean the same way. Well, I'm going to talk about stuff differently with them than I am in a different group.
What are the issues that come up the most?
It's usually the biggest news of the week. So it's stuff that's happening right now. It's not, and so my assumption is then these are people who are fairly plugged in. Even if they're not listening to 97.1 all day, they know what's going on. And they're concerned about their businesses and their houses more than anything.
Money.
They're concerned about money. They're concerned about their jobs, because some of these guys do run businesses and stuff, and they're like, look, things have just gotten harder. I don't want them to continue to get harder. And they're just concerned about that stuff. They're not like wringing their hands over, but when they're talking about it, it's always got that air of kind of danger that, man, what could the next 4 years look like for me and my family? Because I got employees, some of them just have regular jobs. What's this going to look like? Are we going into a recession? Was a big talking point the last couple of weeks. People are worried about it, and it colors everything.
It's like you have to encourage people to have these conversations. You have to be comfortable. I'm encouraging other people to be comfortable having these conversations. I certainly can take that advice myself. We all need to be more bold in our willfulness to do it, but I think we all need to try to approach it in a way where people are like, oh my gosh, you're not like ragey mad about this.
Yeah, totally.
And I think that's part of the way that we win. Let's take a quick break. More Annie Fry Show around the corner. Are you a cat or a dog person? YouTube live chat poll for today. If you go to the Annie Fry YouTube poll, you can see that and vote. Are you a cat person, a dog person, both or neither? Doc says dogs only by far. Chris says dogs, not fond of cats. Meh, I don't like how they smack sweet. And then this pop-up came up. Innocent pups. Stop it. LOL. All right. Smack sweet innocent pups. Does that happen a lot?
Do cats hit dogs, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
There's a video that was just on the internet, and I don't think it was our local bear, but there's a cat sitting on some steps, and this bear like kind of saunters up to it, and the cat turns around and looks at it. Bear doesn't go away. Bear leans in a little bit further, and the cat just goes whack right on the bear's face, and then the bear's like, whoa, and leaves. Man. Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow. You have
3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Public service announcement from Bart Inman, Air Conditioning. School starting 2024. So all the juniors and seniors, or possibly even the sophomores, but let's just say if you just know school's not for you because it bores you, trade schools is an option for you. A lot of the high schools have it. For your junior and senior year, you can receive credit upon graduation of high school, get a very, very good job in the trades. When I say very good job, you're building America, you're building the school that you're sitting in, you're building the house that you live in. You get great pride in building something every single day. You don't want to go to college, pick a trade school. I'm partial to Rankin Technical, so pass this along. If you're not in the trades, or if you're a parent or your grandparent, speak with your child or your grandchild. Remember, boys or girls, the trades are available, and you're not putting your kids in debt for a useless piece of paper. God bless.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
Home values are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Early bird special, only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, August 14th at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights, in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
News that's on time. On your time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want. And stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
scared to fight for what we want tonight. Close your eyes.
Welcome back. So I love etiquette. Answer this for real. Set the jokes aside, Ryan. On a scale of 0 to 10. Yes, try real hard. Just give me your serious answer, and then you can go into your joke.
Okay.
I need a number before you say anything else.
Okay.
0 to 10. 10 being huge, huge deal to you. How important is participating in and observing proper etiquette to you?
Solid 5.
Pretty don't much care at all.
Right down, yeah. I'm not going to say there's nothing.
Emphatically
but I'm not
disinterested.
Yeah, it's right there in that shrug zone.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm about a 6 or a 7.
Okay. I unfortunately am a 10.
Yes, you are.
My grandmother raised me that way. She was from Australia. I've talked about my grandma before. Met my grandpa as he was serving in the United States Army in same building in Australia that General MacArthur was in, which is pretty cool. And my grandmother, Norma, was serving the Australia military, and that's how they met. She is she was incredibly proper, very, very emphatic on the pleases, the thank yous, the may I's, not the can I's, and always correcting grammar. And so that's just been ingrained in my life for as long as I could possibly remember. Miss Manners is one of my favorite things to read because it's all about etiquette and what is socially polite and appropriate, but Miss Manners is real sassy. So it's like she's correcting people snarkily, and I just find enjoyment in that. This is one that was about a coworker. So I wanted to know what you guys think about this. What is the protocol in responding to a joke that is repeated ad nauseum? And tell me if you've ever had an experience like this with a coworker. I have a coworker who says each and every time she returns from the office restroom, gee, I forgot my coat and gloves, or I forgot to bring my parka, as some other inane comment referencing the temperature of the bathroom. Yes, it's cold in our office bathroom. I don't think my coworkers and I should have to politely smile, laugh, and agree with her every single day, multiple times each day. The obvious solution is to ignore, which I do. My coworkers are much more genteel than I am, and they smile, chuckle, nod in agreement, then roll their eyes and complain when she isn't around. Perhaps there is some clever thing to say to put an end to it. This is so relatable.
Yeah, it is. Do you have an answer to this before I go? Because I have I know exactly what I do in this situation.
I know what Miss Manners says, and I think that I would have done something similar to the answer she gives.
Okay. If Nancy comes back from the bathroom every day, is doing the same joke.
Don't talk about her on the air.
Whatever. Let's say her name's
We don't know any
Diane.
Nancy's. We don't know any Nancy's.
I made up a fake name. It's like, oh, shoot.
I just watched you run through a list of names in your head.
I was
Diane.
just joking with you. We don't know a Nancy. I don't
It's
think,
like, oh, shoot, did I offend Nancy?
There might be a Nancy over there. I don't know. She's not here.
Yeah. So let's say that Diane is coming back from the bathroom, does the same joke every day. I can tell you exactly what I do. I go, ha, Diane! And then I might clap a little bit, and I'm like, you. That's exactly what I do.
Are you doing that to make her stop?
I'm doing it to make a joke out of her joke. Hopefully it makes her laugh, and then also it makes her realize, oh, I'm saying the same joke every day. I think it works.
Brad?
I don't. I ignore it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not even considering what I would do in this situation because it would just become noise in the background at some point.
I don't know that you, in my understanding of your resume, have ever had to sit a 9 to 5 in a work cubicle-like environment where you have to deal with the same people in the same routine every day over and over and over again. You've taught, and that's like kids, which is its own kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's a different kind.
But you've never had to deal with that too much. This is probably as close as you've gotten to it.
Yeah, this would be as close as I've got to that.
Miss Manners says.
And this is what you would do.
Yeah.
Is this what you do? Do-do.
I do not do.
Do you poo-poo?
Treating a joke as if it were meant seriously is the best way to diffuse it. In this case, Ms. Manners suggests, oh no, we thought we asked management to fix that. If you need to borrow a blanket, though, I have one in my car. That's a little forward. But like,
That's a little sassy.
yeah, I told you, Miss Manners is she's
There's
good.
some snark.
She said eventually your would-be comedian will get tired of explaining the humor to you and find another target. But I think that like
I like it.
taking it seriously so that when they're making the joke over and over and over. I mean, if you just don't think that the first joke or that they say it and maybe other people are around that hadn't heard it last time, if they're doing it to the point where it's every day and they're requiring your affirmation of humor, just go in and be like, oh, okay, yeah, let me call maintenance and we'll get that taken care of or something like that. Like address it. And then when they have to explain it, maybe you've made a longer moment of it that you can't come back the next day or later that afternoon and say the same thing.
I like it. I think it's a good answer. Good answer. I'm locking it in.
Lock it in.
in.
Here is another Miss Manners. And it goes along with...
I think I've got one that I want to share with you guys after this, too.
Well, okay. Let's do this one first.
Yeah,
because
please.
This one goes along with today's poll.
Okay.
On YouTube, on the Any Fry YouTube channel, go vote and tell us, are you a cat or a dog person? Cat, dog, both, or neither? And I'm looking right now, and there's a plus 50% on one of them right now. So, dear Miss Manners, my husband, George, insists that we thank our sweet puppy when he follows directions.
What?
I explained that I do not believe thanking a pet is necessary, but I would be willing to send an inquiry to Miss Manners, who is the authority regarding etiquette. George responded, these are just retired old people. George responded that he did not believe Miss Manners is an actual person.
Miss Manners might be AI now.
Can we act this out later for video? She's not even a real person.
We are acting it out right now on camera.
And is more likely a group of people in an office. He then went on to explain that even if Miss Manners is, air quotes, real, she isn't the authority in all areas of etiquette. My question for Miss Manners are, what is the appropriate amount of time for George to sleep in the doghouse? And does etiquette require that I eventually allow him back into our house? That's a wild ride.
Wow.
But the initial question is, how do you handle a husband that insists that we thank our sweet puppy when he follows directions, and a wife who's like, we don't need to thank the puppy? Whose side you got?
I'm sitting down with both of them, and I'm telling George, your wife is right here. George, you need to cut this out, buddy, and find a different hobby. If you're that concerned about this, you need something else to do.
And then when he stops it, do you thank him?
No, I still don't. And I'm not cleaning up after him either.
Have you ever been around older couples that have a very happy, loving marriage, but all they do is argue? Or they bicker?
Yeah.
I mean, they're not even bickering in a way that is really mad. It's just how they talk.
Yeah.
Is that inevitable?
No, I don't think it's inevitable, but it is probably the most, like, water takes the path of least resistance. That's probably where you're going to end up. That's probably where we're all going to end up.
If you're retired for 30 years together in the house and you don't really go out and do as much anymore and you're just around your annoying partner who thinks you're an annoying partner, you start scooping all the words on Wheel of Fortune because you've already seen that episode 3 times. You're like, the next word is dill pickles.
Man, hopefully a really good conservative radio show comes along middays when we're that age. And we can just tune in.
Like, listen to these kids, George.
Yeah. George is like, you thank that radio.
She keeps complaining that she turned 40. Yeah, exactly. You want to hear what Miss Manners has to say about this?
I do.
George is a brave man to take on both his wife and Miss Manners, but a foolish one to disparage the authority who was about to sympathize with him.
Oh, no, Miss Manners.
Not to vindicate him exactly, but to sympathize. Aside from the silliness of your alleged argument and your satisfaction of getting Miss Manners to notice such silliness, it is good to be in the habit of giving thanks even when not strictly necessary.
Wow. The dog does not care. It's the tone with which you say it.
Do you thank Poe when he does a good job? Do you talk to the dog?
I tell him good boy when he does a good job.
Good boy is a pretty standard issue.
I say that to Brad.
Yeah, when he does a really good job.
We get done at 3, and I'm like, that's a good boy.
It's reinforcing the behavior that you want, but I don't look at him and say, thank you.
Does your wife?
No.
Thank you. Would you like some Grey Poupon?
Do you say, are there any other sorts of communications that are maybe a little bit more than master-pet communications?
Like in a situation or just like...
I'm not putting parameters on the way you talk to your animal.
I've had conversations with my dog.
Yeah.
But they're just completely sarcastic.
Did you ever talk to your dog?
Not in the same way that Brad's talking about having full conversations with the dog. No.
What about the cat that you locked in the basement?
Well, I would talk to that cat. That cat
I thought you
would
said
sit
it
there and
died of
scratch.
loneliness.
It did, because that's why I felt bad. I would sit there at the door and I would just scratch. It'd scratch on one side and I'd scratch on the other.
Ryan. I talked to my dog Rosie. I actually think, this is something I've said on the air before, I have a theory that we humanize our pets, like ones we had in our dreams, that we like, there's a character that plays your pets in your dreams. You get to know them a little bit. I think it's fun to think about.
Okay.
My Rosie is an Australian Shepherd, and she likes me the most by far. But Jared's been walking her in the morning, so I'm afraid I'm going to lose out on that. But I'm also not going to get up and walk her before he walks her. So, but yeah, I don't. There's no requirements of how other people need to talk to the dog, and I've never really like tried to really express gratitude to her for behaving. It's kind of weird. You want to tell your situation, or you want to do it when we come back?
No, I want to tell you right now, because this is a real office situation that I had to deal with for years.
Here?
No. There was a person in the cubicle next to me for a long time who would get frustrated with something they were working on, which happens to everybody, no big deal. But they'd get frustrated, and it was like they needed somebody else to verify, I hear that you're frustrated. So he would go, and then just sit there. And about 4 or 5 of us would all hear it. And
when you say cubicle, are you in easy view of each other, or are there walls separating you? Like, did you have to like lean around the wall in order to see him?
Yeah, I would have to stand up and look down into his cubicle to see him.
You should just do the noise back, but louder.
Well, it gets to a point. I think I probably did that, and it didn't matter. The guy would just get frustrated at something and would just make some loud groan, or the opposite, something really good would happen and he'd laugh real loud, and he'd just wait. Like, somebody has to approach me about this. And everybody got to the point where nobody would. And then you just sit there going, when's he going to stand up and tell everybody anyway?
That is something that annoys the heck out of me, when people are like trying to get your attention, but they won't just say it.
Just say
do
it.
it. We're all busy people.
Yes.
You want me to know something? You want me to react to something? Say, hey, Annie, check this out, and go into it. I do this with my kids all the time. They I talk about one of them, and she's always coming up to me and being like, so you're eating an apple? And I'm always like, no. But I'm like holding the apple, eating it. And there's a lot of statements. And it's like, obviously, what and Charlie, I'm going to call it Charlie because he's at school. When Charlie wants to play video games, he knows that video games exist only after everything else is completed and we're happy with him. So
that's important.
He does his tasks that he thinks he needs to do. And then he'll just come up and he'll like sit down by me like, hey, Mom. I'm like, hi, Charlie. And he'll like, need anything? Anything I can do for you? And I'm like, no, I think I'm good. Thanks for offering. And he'll be like, okay, how you feel? You tired? I'm like, I'll be like, you're not going to play video games, or do you want to play video games? One or the other, whatever it's going to be. But I'm always like, come right out and say it. Hey, Mom, I'd like to play some video games. Is there anything I can do to earn that? And you should, before you do that, since he's 14 and a half at this point, since you are that old now, you should know the top 5 things that I'm going to suggest that you need to have done before you would ask that question. So do those things and then just come ask the question. Otherwise, I'm just going to live in this 45 seconds to 2 minutes where you're just being real sweet to me. Because it makes my heart happy. And then it's so.
So you do want him to do that?
I want him to mean it, Ryan. I want it to be about me, not about Fortnite. That's what I want. But it's gotten to the point.
So it's all about you.
Yes, in this instance it is, because he's going to move out of my home in a few years, and I'm clinging, I say. But it's gotten to the point where when he sits down, he knows what he's doing. I know what he's doing. I'm working on the computer. He sits down next to me on the couch. He's like, "Hey, Mom." I'm like, "Hi, Charlie." And then we go through our thing. And he's so, I don't know if he's scared to ask. He's scared to hear no is really what he's scared to do. And so he'll stop asking questions. He's like trying to pick his next move. And I'll just turn my head and look at him. And he like does that thing where his mouth gets real big because he's trying really hard not to smile. And I'm like, "Is there something you want?" And he's like, "No." He just goes on and on. All the kid wants to do is play Fortnite. Just come on and ask for it, kiddo.
We didn't really solve the situation in the cubicle, though.
What was the solution that you picked?
There was never one. I ended up leaving the company.
The solution is to quit or die.
I guess that's where we're at.
I think you just don't give in.
I didn't.
It's not worth being like, when you're huffing and puffing over there, people are annoyed by you. That's too much to explain.
That. Yeah.
Then you sound petty.
Yes.
Isn't it amazing all the things we constructed, like the battles, the wars that we're engaged in our minds, and then you find out later that person just had like a condition. Like CF, where they were coughing all the time or something like that, and you completely misconstrued
God forbid.
it. Yeah, Ryan Wiggins has had COVID for 4 years. And then you find out, didn't you say you have a card that says...
I have a card that just says cystic fibrosis on it.
You just like drop it like it's an FBI badge.
Oh, shoot. Look at that. I've got it on a lanyard now.
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So you've heard me talking about Lutheran schools. It is such a passion project for me to make sure that everybody knows that Lutheran schools in the St. Louis area, on Missouri and Illinois, that Lutheran schools are an accessible, attainable option for you and your child, for you and your grandchild. LESASTL.org, LisaSTL.org/Annie. Go check out the Lutheran schools that are in your neighborhood today. A lot of you listening to the show also know about Lutheran schools, and many of you have had your lives touched by Lutheran schools. Myself as a product of them, I send my kids to them. It's so incredible to be able to give back to those Lutheran schools. So if you have been blessed by that and you know that there are children out there who could really use access to a Lutheran education and you have the means, please consider going to lisastl.org/Annie, LESASTL.org/Annie, and making a donation that will bless that child and their ability to get a wonderful education in the best of learning circumstances. Lutheran schools provide support for students with IEPs. They believe in working with partner Lutheran associations of special education in most schools. They have really small class sizes that allow specialized attention and learning. And Lutheran schools provide the learning essentials families are seeking in education at all learning levels, and they are accessible to you. Please consider a Lutheran school as we are here in August. There's still time. There's still room. Reach out to them at lisastl.org/Annie.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
If you're considering new windows, there's nowhere else to go but Window World. Mark Cox here. My friends at Window World are doing something now they've never done before. That is offering up to 36 months interest-free financing for your purchase. So you get the great windows put in now, you get the energy efficiency, the great look, and then you have 36 months to pay for it. How about that? Window World has been around for a long time, and their reputation speaks for itself. They are highly rated in the Better Business Bureau and all of the rating agencies. They're big supporters of our St. Louis Blues. And here's the thing. If you mention you heard this on the Mark Cox Morning Show in 97.1, you're going to be entered in a drawing for 4 Blues tickets during the upcoming season. And that's great. They're going to pick a winner every month, and good luck to you. If you need new windows, I'm telling you, Window World is the way to go. 314-993-1800. That's 993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Are you a cat or a dog person? Cat, dog, both, neither. Those are your choices. It's the Andy Fry YouTube live chat poll. And if you are chomping at the bit, that's kind of a horse thing. I was trying to do a thing there. It didn't work. If you are waiting to hear what the results of this poll are, you just have to wait another couple minutes. We'll give them to you. Are you a cat or a dog person? 249. I'm getting the thumbs down from the whole room. 249. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Welcome back. So every week we go through, it seems like there's some sort of big new. When did they announce the walls thing? Was that this week?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, it's been 3 days.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah.
What happens next week? What's the big story next week?
I think the big story is that one of us is going to pass out from exhaustion, and the other 2 of us will have to report on it.
Okay. I'm not passing out from exhaustion.
Well, then it'll be me, and you guys will have to report on it.
What if we don't? What if we're just like, hey, Abby, come get Ryan?
That seems really insensitive.
It's just, you hear a thump, and I reach over and mute his mic, and we keep
Ryan's
going.
laying on the floor over there going like this.
But I adjust the camera to tilt downward first just to be sure that you guys see it. Because I'm really just doing it for attention.
I don't know. Ryan just said the story on Friday last week, and he said we're supposed to ignore it. So,
while you guys are talking,
I mean, aren't we at a place now in the bazillion ways that you can communicate where if you got something to say, if you need something, boy, am I working on teaching my girls this. Because when I remember growing up and girls were supposed, there is kind of I think a assumed thing about girls. You shouldn't necessarily be forward and open and asking about things that you want. This kind of like a feministic way to look at society, but I think that there's something to that. Women have, in my lifetime, come a long way in being equals in the office. I think that that's a good, strong thing. I don't think that they should have to do it at the expense of men just because men are men. But being strong and intentional and What's funny?
I'm just sitting here. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
He's like
Like,
strong intentional.
Yeah.
No, it's just like as a guy,
Ryan's
like,
going.
we're
She's
sitting
doing it again.
We're sitting here like, what do you want? And now you're saying we've come to a point in society where the girls are just like, we want this. And guys are like, okay.
I'm not really even specifically talking about in relationships with men. That's a different element. I'm just talking about when you want something, you should go for it and you should be intentional about it. You should be decisive about it. You should not, the number one thing to not do is just wait and hope that it happens. Don't sit around and wait on something to just happen to you and then be sad or mad when it's not happening to you. Because if you can make it happen, have the confidence to go out there and do something and try, and maybe you fail and then you can try again. It seems to me like that's something that we should champion, and I don't. Women, like the whole feminist movement has gotten us to a place where now men are just, like Ryan always jokingly says, as a man,
first I want to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
then whatever point.
It's just very ridiculous to raise women in that world where men are inferior just because they're men, but you're sure as heck not going to be in your right mind if you think I'm going to raise my son to live that way.
It's just disappointing that we've gotten to the point where so much of American, not society, I would say individuals look at the outward characteristics of a person as the most important thing about them. That is the exact opposite of what I was taught for most of my childhood as we were moving through the 80s and 90s. And now we've come the opposite way from progressives to get us to where we're back at looking at just the outward characteristics.
I just look at each week that passes and knowing that we have 88 days until the election happens, and there are people who are going to be in panic mode in different forms for the next, it's going to be minute by minute. And that so much is going to happen. It feels like Tim Walz has been a part of my life for a decade.
Doesn't it? Brad said at the beginning of the show, right before we were starting, he goes, man, I was putting together What Did I Miss? And clips from Monday, I can't even play because they're about who is going to be the VP pick for Kamala. That's how recent it was.
Well, I think that sometimes these news stories and these news cycles weigh us down. I just want to remind you, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm going to start uploading a short, it's not going to be long, but this one I think was a little over 11 minutes long, a reflection that involves my Christian faith and just thoughts that I have on, or reminders that I have to myself on what I need to ground myself in. And I think that the prevailing thing that people feel right now is worry and anxiety over what's going to happen because we don't know. And I think that, we talked about polls today. Ryan made me do it. We talked about polls today, and they all look a little bit in favor of Harris, but I don't look at that because I have my own lens with which I look at polls. And I think to myself, actually think that considering all the positivity surrounding Kamala Harris right now, if this is as high as she got, this is actually pretty good. But I could also turn that on its head and worry about the whole thing the whole time because I can't control it. And when I talk to people, we talked about discussing politics out in the open with people personally or whatever. The one thing I want to encourage people to do is to not worry. And so I'm uploading a podcast episode to the Annie Fry Show podcast. So if you subscribe to the AFS podcast already, it's there. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should. If you don't want to subscribe to a podcast, you can go to anniefryshow.com, F-R-U-Y, anniefryshow.com, and there's a playlist on there. It's just as simple as being like, click, play, listen. And that will be live tomorrow morning. You guys should listen to it.
Okay.
You have until 8 or 6 a.m. tomorrow morning to be like, this is a bad idea.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm doing my show at 7.
YouTube live chat poll. Are you a cat or dog person? Ryan?
Dog.
Brad?
Dog.
Annie? Dog. 5% said neither. 15% of our 250 votes, 15% said cat. 28% said both. And 52% of our listening audience, dog people.
Yeah, you're my dogs.
Yeah, you're our dogs. That's right. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
From me, I'm not a married sweetheart.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885.